These things could be costing you thousands. Rolling over your 401k into an IRA can provide better investment options that align with your long-term goals. At Trajan Wealth, we're fiduciary advisors that are held to a higher standard with no hidden agenda and no hidden fees. Don't let your retirement dollars sit in an old plan, and don't roll it over to your new plan without consulting Trajan Wealth first. Call Trajan today at 801-899-7600. That's 801-899-7600.
Advisory services are offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
Are you an energy worker receiving home health care? Don't settle. It's time to choose better care. At CNS Cares, our local nurses provide reliable care you can count on. Your dedicated care manager will help you get all the care and benefits you've earned.
My first provider made a lot of promises. CNS Cares has delivered.
Find out why more families are switching to CNS Cares. Visit cnscares.com.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're dedicated to serving people 50 and up like me. Our needs are different. Big Wireless wants us in an unlimited plan, but if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on affordable, reliable plans, including data that suits your needs, not ours. Our plans start at just $20, and you'll get the best customer service in the business.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Let's go!
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Do you recognize this piece? It's Orff's Carmina Burana. How about this? That's Rachmaninoff's Rhapsody on a Theme of Paganini. Hear more iconic works from the greats of classical music when you join your Utah Symphony for a Masterworks performance at Abravanel Hall. Tickets start at $26, all fees included. Get yours today at utahsymphony.org/classics.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. And here's Heather Kelly.
We're almost back to normal speeds southbound 15 through Weber and Davis counties, as well as coming out of Tooele County and in the Salt Lake Valley. But Utah County is still a mess. It is about an hour and a half, maybe a little bit more, if you're trying to get out of Eagle Mountain or Saratoga Springs using Redwood Road. Don't do that. Redwood Road is backed up from Crossroads Boulevard all the way to Camp Williams because you only have one lane of travel available northbound. Southbounders also only have one lane of travel, and that has delays from Porter Rockwell Boulevard to Camp Williams, and those southbounders are using one of the northbound lanes. So a lot of people going over to I-15, which is causing extra delays on 2100 North and Pioneer Crossing, as well as on northbound I-15 leaving Lehigh over the point of the mountain. Brooker's Founding Flavor Ice Cream Taverns, homemade super premium ice cream with flavor names honoring America's founders. Join the ice cream revolution. Now open in Draper. Brooker's Founding Flavor Ice Cream Tavern in Draper. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
Today will be sunny with the highs in the mid-80s. Clouds move in tonight, but we'll be warm through the weekend. Chance of rain on Sunday. Right now it's 63 degrees. I'm Amanda Dixon from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio.
The Utah Legislature had another public comment hearing yesterday to consider the maps that they're considering for the redrawing of the districting maps for our legislative districts. Here's more from KSL TV's Daniel Woodruff with a recap on yesterday's meeting, which got a little heated.
Well, it really was heated, and it lasted more than 3 hours, at times devolving into just basic partisan bickering. It was during the hearing today that Democrats on the Legislative Redistricting Committee proposed a map of their own, redrawing the 4 congressional districts in the state of Utah. They had a political scientist join them for this to testify as an expert, but Republicans took issue with him over some of his past tweets criticizing the Utah legislature. On the other side of things, Democrats allege that the maps proposed by the Redistricting Committee, which is controlled by Republicans, relied on partisan data, which would be illegal. That got one GOP member of the committee quite upset.
You called us somehow hiding or lying about everything that we've presented to say that these maps were not developed with any political data. You just misrepresented that, and that's out of order.
May I apologize and clarify, Senator? I appreciate that. That's not my intention.
It was what was said.
We have a suspicion that may have been done. The doctor on Monday.
You didn't say you had a suspicion. You called us out.
I think I said we strongly suspect that's been done. I don't think there's knowledge on the part of any committee member. I didn't say that.
Wow. So unsurprising, actually, that it's kind of heated. So we've been talking about this process as soon as the judge released her ruling. And we have with us Elizabeth Rasmussen. She's the executive director of Better Boundaries. So clearly an interested party here. And Elizabeth, I'm wondering if you can just break down for us the process of where we stand, because what I understood was supposed to happen is a map was supposed to be released, and it sounds like it's going to be a lot more than a map. Do you want to talk to us about that?
Yes, definitely. Thanks so much for having me. We also thought there would only be a map that was released to the public, but now we have 6 maps that come from the committee. And then as of last night, there might be more. There are about 19 maps that were submitted by just citizens across the state. And so there's quite a few maps you can comment on right now.
Okay, so let's start with the 6. We had heard going into the meeting that the Republicans had issued 5 of their own, or we saw those dividing the state. They call it either the pizza designation or the donut. What was the 6th map? Was that the one that was proposed by the Democrats?
Yes, that was the one proposed by the Democrats, and that's also available online for public comment.
Okay, and then the others are from just citizens or other groups?
Yes, anyone is allowed to submit a map to the legislature, and you can find all those at redistricting.utah.gov, and they're all labeled according to who submitted them.
So if people want to submit, are these because it's the 25th, are these the maps that are set, or do we go through all day today and then it's actually tomorrow?
I mean, could people still submit a map today, is I guess what you're asking.
Yeah.
Yes. From what I understand, you can still submit a map through today because the official public comment period doesn't start until tomorrow morning. But there are opportunities still to comment today as well.
Okay, and then where does it go from here? So let's say there are 19 maps that are submitted by the end of business today. There's a 10-day public comment period, and then what happens? Does the legislature then meet in special session, or is the judge then in charge of what's going on in terms of picking the map?
Exactly. They do meet in a special session, and that's when they submit one single map to the court. And then it goes to the court process. There'll be additional hearings, and the judge will have a say on which map is most compliant with the law.
Does Better Boundaries submit a map, or are you going to submit the map that was the one that was that you submitted in the first place?
We won't be submitting a map. We'll just be helping people know how to comment on the maps and submit their feedback. The plaintiffs in the case do have an opportunity to submit a map, and their deadline is the same day as the legislature, October 6th, to submit that to the court.
So you could submit to the court. So I have just a bunch of questions still. So I feel like I've pretty deeply involved in the legislative process, and it is still confusing to me. So I can't find where the maps are, where the public has submitted maps. Where is that?
And this is where it can get confusing because the public comment period hasn't officially opened up. The links on the website, the redistricting.utah.gov, aren't taking you anywhere. But tomorrow they should take you to the site that has all the maps where you can look at them, zoom in on them, and see how they are. I don't have that exact link memorized right now because it's a pretty long one. So I would
see
just
one
recommend
at Citygate. Is that the one at Citygate?
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
it's a Citygate.
Okay,
Yep.
so I can see the comments, but I can't see the maps. So confusing, but we'll figure that out. I also had a question about a comment that Representative Perucci made, where she said that you can't. They want to take public comment, but they're not going to be able to use public comment. Can you put that in context for us?
Yes, and if I was a little confused by that as well, but if I'm understanding correctly, there are there are these maps that are submitted by citizens, and one of the requirements under Proposition 4 is you can't use partisan data when crafting a map, and so they can't verify whether or not the citizen maps that have been submitted use partisan data, and so it's very unlikely they'll be considered because of that technicality.
Okay, so in reality, they're probably really only considering 6 maps, the 5 by the Republicans and the 1 by the Democrats.
Yes, correct.
Okay, so not using partisan data, what do you use? Obviously, geographic and population. What am I getting that right? We want to have the state divided equally into 800,000 citizens, and not divide up counties or cities any more than we have to.
Exactly. There are 8 standards that Proposition 4 sets forward, and they're around equal population, keeping communities together, keeping cities together, counties together. And so that is what is used to craft the map. And then after the fact, there is a process where you can test the map for fairness, and that's where you get some of the partisan just some of the partisan checks to see if they don't unduly favor a party or politician.
Thank you for joining us, Elizabeth. That was super helpful. That was Elizabeth Rasmussen, the Executive Director of Better Boundaries, and we're going to continue our discussion on redistricting, but in the next segment. But it's interesting to me that even feeling like I have been a political insider, that some of this process has really been confusing.
Yeah, and I think the judge did everything she could to make it not confusing. And I think the legislature is doing what it can to be not confusing, but I don't think they're on the same page necessarily. And I don't mean that to be critical, but the legislators that were there came right out of the chute and said, hey, we're here.
Under
this
protest.
is all under protest.
Yep, exactly.
So I don't know that everybody's on the same page. And I guess I also don't know, okay, so you've got 6 maps. We have 19 maps. Legislature meets on
October
16th. Or 6, yes.
October 6th.
It's 10 days plus 1.
Yep.
And then they'll send a map, I don't know, to the judge, I
That's
guess.
right.
We'll
Yep.
see.
Yep.
And all this has to be done in time for the lieutenant governor's deadline, which was November 10th, so that they can start drawing up these legislative districts.
Yep. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Ty Detmer. We buy our jewelry from Sierra West Jewelers because of the great service, large selection, the diamond education, and the lowest prices. Sierra West Jewelers offers a VIP service package that my wife and I love. The VIP package includes free lifetime warranty, 50% off men's band with purchase of engagement ring, a free electric ring cleaner, a free $50 gift card to Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, plus 14 other free services. Buy at Sierra West Jewelers. I promise you'll never regret it.
Hello, this is Tim Branscombe, founder and president of Sierra West Jewelers. If you're looking for that special gift or if you need it custom made, come to Sierra West Jewelers, where we have the largest selections of rubies, sapphires, and emeralds, diamond earrings, bracelets, and pendants.
Sierra West Jewelers are guaranteed to be half the price of the big chain stores. Sierra West Jewelers, across from the malls in Sandy, Orem, and Murray, or at sierrawestjewelers.com.
At Peach Windows and Doors, they help homeowners stay in the homes they love while upgrading to the elegance, efficiency, and natural light of today. With hundreds of 5-star Google reviews, their clients know Peach Windows and Doors deliver what they promise.
I wanted to replace standard-sized French doors with a large custom sliding door. The update required checking a weight-bearing wall. Plus, I wanted a couple of different styles of windows. The new sliding door created a much brighter and open look. Peach was so helpful along the way with recommendations and ideas, and the installers were efficient and respectful of my space. I was thrilled with Peach Windows and Doors.
Give your $1 million home the $1 million feel it deserves. Don't wait on that someday project. Visit Peach Windows and Doors Salt Lake Showroom. Schedule schedule a free in-home visit. You can also explore at peachwindowsanddoors.com or just call them at 801-566-1255. Peach Windows and Doors, where amazing home transformations begin.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com and get ready for the workday.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at VaxAssist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Most of us like to be out in the sun. That's why sunscreen and other safety measures are key to protecting your skin from aging and cancer. The FDA recommends using a sunscreen with a sun protection factor, or SPF, of 15 or higher. Also, look for broad spectrum on the label. That means both harmful ultraviolet A and B rays are blocked. UVA rays age the skin, UVB rays burn, and both cause cancer. But the perfect sunscreen doesn't count if you use it wrong. Don't need sunscreen on a cloudy day? Wrong. 80% of UV rays still get through the haze. Only use sunscreen at the beach? Nope. Anytime you're outside, UV rays attack the skin, so you need protection. And you have to reapply sunscreen every 2 hours. Remember, SPF plus broad spectrum equal healthy fun in the sun. Visit www.fda.gov/sunscreen for more information. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel you attract people who tend to be compulsive or abusive?
Do you have money problems because of someone else's drinking?
Are you afraid or embarrassed to bring your friends home?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
More than half of all adults have a family history of alcoholism.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too. Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
An expanded Inside Sources. Inside Sources.
We're following up on a previous conversation we had in the last segment about the redistricting, and let me just try to reset it as best I can, and Holly, you could correct me. But the state has 3.2 million people. We have 4 congressional districts. We should have about 800,000 citizens in each district. Dividing that seems fairly simple, but then we go to the next step or two in the process, which is to say, don't divide up cities any more than you have to, and don't divide up counties any more than you have to. Salt Lake County absolutely has to be divided because it has more than 800,000 people. It's going to be divided at least in half. And Salt Lake City has less than 800,000 people, so it's going to have something more than just Salt Lake City within that.
Right.
And then you go to the rest of the state, and it's worked in different ways, in different manners. The legislature has redrawn the map. It's significantly different than the current map, which divides Salt Lake County 4 ways. But the legislative map has, because it has to, divide Salt Lake County in 2 ways, sort of horizontally and vertically. And then everybody else is submitting maps to decide which one makes the most sense. But the judge has said, forget partisan, where the Republicans and Democrats live. Let's think about keep communities together, keep neighborhoods together, and keep cities together.
That was Prop 4, right? So, yeah, from 2018. And so when the ruling came out from Judge Gibson, the timeline, the compressed timeline, is what is giving a lot of people some heartburn. But the legislature requested a stay. It was denied on both levels up to the Utah Supreme Court. They still I mean, I think they're pretty clear they're doing this under protest. They've said multiple times in opening statements they said they were doing it under protest. They said again yesterday that they were doing it because they were only there because of a court order, and that they were continuing to pursue legal action, right, to prevent this from being implemented is really their goal. And they even have suggested that they might go as far as the U.S. Supreme Court to see if they can get the U.S. Supreme Court to weigh in. I saw a headline today that was interesting to me. It was on NPR, and it was off of a KUER article based here in Utah. But the headline was basically, Utah redistricting battle did not start with Trump. Right?
Yeah, that's true.
Because we have to say, right, there's some ongoing conversation about redistricting now mid-cycle, basically, because President Trump has asked some Republican-dominated states to please find some more seats for him. So Texas has found 5 more. Potentially, right? They've redrawn their maps so that there's 5 more Republican heavy seats. And then Indiana, I think, and Missouri, I think, we're also looking at that. California was looking at responding in the other way and redrawing maps so that they could get 5 additional Democratic seats. What's interesting about the California process is that one actually has to go to the voters. So
Right.
most states don't do that. Most states, it's just the legislature.
And it seems like the California voters don't have much of an appetite to get involved in the politics of it, which is great.
I don't know. The
We'll
polling
see.
shows more than half approve of this.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
Okay, yeah. I mean, Texas didn't seem to have any problem at all.
Yeah.
But the task force is made up of, I think, 8 Republican
That's
and 2
right. In
Democrat
Utah.
legislators here in Utah
Yep.
to try to decide what to do there. The Republicans had submitted 5 maps. The Democrats were sort of saying, hey, we don't know the information that you use, the analytics. So we brought our own expert, Dr. David Magleby. Republican Representative Roberts was questioning that
a little sharply
yesterday.
On November 10th, 2021, you responded to a tweet by a local reporter at Fox 13 about the governor refusing to veto this legislature's original map. And here's what you tweeted, and I quote, "This is straight out of the authoritarian playbook. Step 1, rig the system to systematically exclude the opposition. Step 2, gaslight the opposition and say that they are free to compete in the rigged system you set up. Shameful." Now, Dr. Magleby, I think a lot of Utahns are going to find that language inflammatory, especially against the backdrop of our current political environment. Do you think this legislature is authoritarian?
Let's be clear what's at stake in this process. And I think I watched the hearing on Monday, and I appreciate what it is that you all are trying to accomplish here. This gets at the core of our democracy. I'm just going to say no. I don't think that you're authoritarians. And I have high hopes that you will do well by the people of Utah, giving them a map that represents their interests in Washington.
So, yesterday's hearing was more heated than even Monday's. Monday's was 5 hours. Yesterday was 3. But it kind of went both ways, right? So we heard in our last segment some conversation that that Senator Sandel was pretty offended by something that Representative Doug Owen said, and it's one of the things that's disappointing to me. Tempers are really flaring right now, it feels like, and again, there's this really tight deadline. So I had a question for our guest last segment based on something that Representative Perucci said.
So while we can and will consider the public's input on which proposed map to choose, we cannot use the public's feedback to make the changes or adjustments we might otherwise make in a legislative process.
So that was confusing to me, right? It's like we want to take public input, but we can't use public input. But I got the clarification that I was hoping for, and I've seen what they're really saying is we can't verify that the maps submitted by anybody but this committee have been drawn according to the parameters put in place by Prop 4 that we're court ordered to follow. So I think in practicality what that means, even though technically people can submit maps and they can be considered by the Utah legislature, they probably will not be considered. I mean, I think that's what she's saying is we can't consider that because we can't verify. But I think their other option is they could potentially submit directly to the courts.
Yeah, and I think it wouldn't be that hard to verify because the parameters weren't that difficult. 800,000 and don't divide cities or counties any more than you have to and forget politics.
That's the big one, is
Yeah.
the forget politics. So you can't necessarily prove that they didn't take into account, well, this is where most of the Democrats live, and so I want to see that we have a Democratic donut hole district.
I understand, yeah. And it's interesting. I mean, I've been around long enough since we had 2 congressional representatives, then we went to 3, now we're up to 4.
Yeah.
And of course, every census, you redivide the state and try to make it as fair and balanced as possible. And so it's just the way that this whole thing has evolved. The citizens then go to the ballot in 2018 and say, we think you should have an independent redistricting commission instead of letting the legislature draw maps. And they say, great. Commission submits maps, and the legislature says, those are really interesting, and then sort of draft their own, and which is why we're here, because then they invited it, and let's be honest, a lawsuit, which is what we're dealing with now.
Yeah, I think one of the issues is Prop 4, when it passed in 2018, said we recognize, and I'm paraphrasing the proposition, but we recognize that the legislature has the authority to draw maps. We also recognize that as citizens, we have the right to impact our own government, and this is what we're choosing to do with Prop 4, and that it laid out not only could they submit maps, but the legislature didn't have to take the maps, but they had to follow the guidelines set out in Prop 4. So it's the partisan nature, right? It's looking at how many Republican voters live in this district, how many Democratic voters live in this district. What it doesn't often take into account, and this was pointed out to me by a friend yesterday, is the unaffiliated voters. We have a lot of those in the state of Utah, right? It's like they're totally ignored in this whole process, even though they do weigh in and they do vote. But it's been an interesting process, and the timeline that we're looking at, again, is it's going to be officially open for public comment. Everything I read until today was that public comment opened today, but it actually, I guess, starts tomorrow, goes through October 5th, and then the legislature will meet on October 6th in a special session, and they will select one map. So the committee is going to actually pick one map, and they're going to do that on October 5th.
Yeah.
At the close of the public comment session.
And we also have this whole, just the lawyer in me, the constitutional issue. Who has the authority? The legislature say, look, the Constitution gives us the right to, I mean, we have.
That's why they have ongoing legal action.
That's one of our duties, is to set up districts and help with the election process. And the voters saying, well, ultimately it's ours. But the judge weighed in. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing, right? So we'll see. We may have new congressional districts for the 2026 cycle. Okay, investigators are trying to learn more about the man they say opened fire at an ICE facility in Dallas yesterday. We're going to talk about what we know so far. Coming up next, we're streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com and on the app for KSL News Radio, sponsored by At Your Service Pros.
9:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Amanda Dixon. KSL's top story, mental health experts say parents should talk to their kids if they've been impacted by the death of a student during a field trip in Provo Canyon. We learned the student from Canyon View Junior High shot themselves in front of several classmates. Dr. Brooks Keeshan at the Huntsman Mental Health Institute tells KSL-TV students could be feeling numb or sad or angry. He says a parent's first concern should be learning about their child's experience.
Tell me about it. I'm here to listen, but not kind of going and asking a whole bunch of very kind of direct questions.
The Alpine School District is offering counseling services to all impacted students and staff. Our top national story this hour from ABC News, President Trump is scheduled to sign a TikTok deal today. A bipartisan law was passed by Congress and signed by then-President Biden last year, banning the social media platform unless U.S. stakeholders bought it from Chinese company ByteDance. According to the new agreement, the family that oversees the Fox Corporation, Michael Dell, and the Ellison family are said to be involved.
TikTok's U.S. operations will now be run by this new joint venture, with American users' data stored in the U.S. and overseen by the cloud computing firm Oracle. And perhaps most importantly, this new ownership group will get a copy of the algorithm, that secret sauce that makes TikTok so addictive. Trump says other American investors, including Michael Dell of Dell Technologies and the Murdoch family, will also play a role.
ABC News Chief White House correspondent Mary Bruce reporting. Your money at this moment, the Dow is down 132 now. That's 0.3%. We're at 45,988. Coming up, warm and sunny today, but then some clouds move in. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 9:32. A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
I'm back to doing what I love and more. Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Do you spend half your day walking or standing while working? If you have foot, knee, or low back pain, the Good Feet store wants to help you like we helped Tony.
Pain that I experience the most is foot pain from being on my feet all day. You're having to kind of talk to yourself through the whole shift, like, I got this, I can do this. Before, I felt defeated, and now it's like, all right, let's go. I'm ready. A whole new life, like sunshine coming out.
And here's Dennis.
Working at an amusement park, it's always on your feet. I just couldn't take it, but I didn't have a choice. I just couldn't believe that putting these arch supports in made that much of a difference that quickly. Good Feet just took that pain away, and I could do my job, and I could take care of my family. I know what my tomorrow's gonna be. It's gonna be positive, and it's gonna be pain-free.
You deserve a better life too. Stop in the Good Feet store today. Walk-ins are always welcome. Or find the location nearest you and schedule an appointment at goodfeet.com.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
This Friday from 10 to 1, the movie show comes to Sound Sleep. But first, take time to learn about a better night's rest. Sound Sleep delivers oral appliance therapy that treats sleep apnea without the use of CPAP machines. They're professionally fit, warranted, and covered by most major medical insurance. End the days of a poor night's sleep. With offices from Clearfield to St. George, Sound Sleep will help. Call Sound Sleep at 801-716-8672 today.
Ooh, ma. What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud phone system. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very...
Calm? I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business calm at ooma.com/radio.
You still got it, but your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Go from daydreamer to industry leader with Amazon Business. From office supplies to IT essentials, Amazon Business provides tools that help you save costs and make insight-based decisions. Learn how to bring your visions to life at AmazonBusiness.com.
At Intermountain Health, we believe life is a circle. May yours surround you with insight, a healthy perspective, trust, and reassurance. The belief that our differences aren't that different, and compassion just when you need it most. Life is a circle. May yours help you live the healthiest life possible. Intermountain Health.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. And here is Heather Kelly.
Well, the conditions have not improved much in Utah County. This is actually out of Lehigh, Saratoga Springs area. We still have a crash on Redwood Road at Camp Williams Avenue. This is blocking all the southbound lanes of travel. So the southbound traffic is using one of the northbound lanes to get past this crash. So northbound traffic can only use the right shoulder to get through there. That has traffic backed up almost to Crossroads Boulevard, and that's taking a good 45 minutes or so to move between Crossroads Boulevard past 2100 North up to the crash site. If you're coming out of Eagle Mountain or Saratoga Springs and you want to get into the Salt Lake Valley, you're going to be better off using Pioneer Crossing or Main Street. Get on I-15, even though both of those roadways also have a little bit of backup. Once you're on I-15 northbound, you're a little bit slow still coming over the point of the mountain to Bangerter Highway. Advanced Window Products, $2,500 off 10 windows or more. AdvancedWindows.com, affordable windows guaranteed. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
Today will be sunny with highs in the mid-80s. The clouds move in tonight, and the weekend will be around 80 degrees with more cloud cover and a slight chance of rain. Right now it's 66 degrees. I'm Amanda Dixon from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio.
Investigators in Texas are still looking into a shooting that occurred at an ICE facility there that left one detainee dead, 2 more hurt. Police believe the shooter then took his own life after firing indiscriminately at the office. ABC's Maria Villarreal. Here's ABC's Maria Villarreal in Dallas.
ICE detention facilities nationwide on high alert after a sniper rained bullets from a rooftop on a van filled with detainees, killing 1 detainee and wounding 2 more in what authorities are calling an act of targeted violence against the agency.
From rounds that were found near the suspected shooter contain messages that are anti-ICE in nature.
Authorities say the suspect, identified as 29-year-old Joshua John, was firing indiscriminately.
Here's a little bit more about what we now know about the shooter.
His name is Joshua John. We know that he was 29 years old. We also know that he lives in the area, not Dallas proper, but in a contingent county called Collin County. But there's also very limited information that we're getting from him as, law enforcement continues to investigate who he was, where he posted, what he talked about with friends. Some preliminary information that sources are telling ABC News is that, he was a gamer that was not necessarily politically driven. A lot of this is still very fluid right now.
That's sounding familiar.
Yeah, it is. And what's really, among everything else that's troubling about this, it's incredibly troubling. He's upset at ICE. He has some anti-ICE writings on his bullet shells, but the people he killed are detainees.
Right.
He doesn't shoot any ICE agents.
Right.
He's just up on some rooftop firing away. It's just craziness. And then he kills himself, and is trying to make a point against ICE, but kills a detainee and injures 2 others.
Critically injured. And I know that I've seen online that at least one of the ones that is in the hospital has been identified as somebody from Mexico, a Mexican national. So, it's one of the things where I think as we've talked about the Charlie Kirk shooting here in Utah, one of the things that we've said is that was, of course, a horrible tragedy, and it could have been a lot worse. Yeah. It was not the shooter, or alleged shooter, at least in that case, was not randomly firing, multiple rounds. He fired 1 time. And in this case, it sounds like he was just firing and dropped several people, and then as people closed in on him, he killed himself. But what's interesting to me also is he was on a rooftop again.
Yeah. And, of course, everyone wonders what the motive is. ABC's Maria Villarreal in Dallas also said that the FBI has posted one potential clue, which we talked about just a minute ago, a picture of shell casings found at the scene.
One of those shell casings, an unspent one, there was writing found on it that said anti-ICE. That has led, at least federal investigators to believe and to put out there that this was a targeted, violent act that was aimed at law enforcement.
Who dealt with writings on shell casings before a year or 2 ago, and now they're on every case. It's like some weird phenomena that we have.
It's interesting, isn't it?
I'm sure there have been others in the past. I just haven't been aware of it.
I know they did in World War II. Like some of the missile heads and stuff they would write stuff on. But yeah, it seems like a new thing.
Yeah. It's just odd. And then, I don't know, it's hard to, it's every day we're talking about something like this, Holly. It's just troubling.
Yeah. It's troubling.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have a couple of people who were at least neighbors or from the communities. So Sherry Gates lived in the same cul-de-sac community as Joshua John, who's suspected to be the shooter, right? He's been identified as the shooter. And she found her town's connection, of course, very disturbing.
I consider myself informed, and I vote and participate in the community and stuff, but I had no idea that something like this could happen this close to where I live.
Yeah, and ABC's Maria Villarreal in Dallas also spoke to a woman who was outside the office waiting for a hearing on her own immigration case.
She expected her case to be heard right around 7, and 6:40 she was sitting inside when she started to hear these tinging sounds. And she said she heard about 20 of them and almost immediately knew that they were gunshots. People inside were yelling at them to get down on the ground to stay safe, and then the building went on lockdown.
Wow, that's, again, those experiences. And another rooftop shooting, I'm going to say we're going to start to see a lot more surveillance drones in the sky, right?
Yeah, and a lot more just making I don't know if it's possible to make access to rooftops more difficult. But
Yeah.
I guess you can't do too much
I
about
don't
that
know.
because you've got fire escapes and other things like that. But, anytime you have a facility like this, you've got to start thinking about who's going to be on the rooftops. And you're right. Maybe just drone over the city every once in a while and look for people running around.
I don't know, but it also struck me it's another one that they're saying they think he's part of the gamer community, right? And we've talked about that in conjunction with Tyler Robinson and the shooting of Charlie Kirk. And gosh, just stop it, people.
I know the gamer community. I mean, I don't know, what does that teach you? And that last soundbite we just heard, a woman inside was there for her hearing, and she hears like 20 shots. Now, I'm just guessing, but that's not your .30-06 deer rifle. That sounds like another situation where there was an assault weapon used. Not that that's here or there, because the Utah case did not involve assault weapon, but they certainly, you can shoot off a lot more rounds a lot more quickly than you can the old deer rifles that people use in some of these situations. And we know that at least one person is dead. The shooter is additionally dead. Apparently,
Right.
Several others, like you said, are critically injured. And all of the victims appear so far to be detainees and not the intended, at least believed to be the intended target, which was ICE agents themselves.
Yeah, again, it's interesting, and it's interesting to me to see Senator Ted Cruz calling for a de-escalation in political violence and political rhetoric, but he's only aimed it at one side, and I am one to say it needs to de-escalate on both sides.
Yeah,
all sides.
He came out of the shoot yesterday and said that, and of course he's there in Texas. He's there, likely to be one of their top spokespersons. But I think that Governor Cox said it best, that we don't want to look at this as Republican or Democrat. Let's talk about the fact that these these are bad people doing bad things, no matter what their association with whatever party happens to be.
Yeah,
and the gaming community, that's
the vast majority of gamers are never going to go kill anybody.
Right. But even that group, who are radicalized or whatever you want to use from the gaming, are not left or right leaning necessarily. It just seems like they're just angry people. There's just so much anger right now in the country, and it's just troubling that, I don't know, we don't want to deal with this every single day.
Yeah, it's interesting that they found words inscribed on a bullet, anti-ICE, but they say they can't figure out a motive yet. That's interesting to me.
Seriously.
Okay.
Well, we now know who will represent the man accused of murdering our own, Charlie Kirk here in Utah. This is Tyler Robinson. He's the man who's accused of murdering Charlie Kirk, and we have an attorney now appointed for him. This was a long, drawn-out process that unfortunately I got involved in. It's over now, it seems like, and the Utah County Commission made their selection yesterday. We'll talk about who she is after the break.
Do you know why more homeowners choose Any Hour Services for help when it's time to replace their air conditioners? What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and the main reasons people choose Any Hour Services is because of our people, processes, and convenience. People tell us all the time that there's just something different about having an Any Hour Services technician in their home. That's why most of our over 18,000 Google reviews mention our technicians by name. Another reason is our 7-step install process that we call the Any Hour Difference. It all starts with the needs analysis, where you explain what you like and dislike about your current system. This helps us design and size a system that fits your comfort and efficiency preferences, as well as your home's airflow requirements. As for convenience, most of our installs are completed in one day. We also have flexible, no money down financing options available, even if you've been told no in the past. So if you've been thinking about getting a new air conditioner, call Any Hour Services and schedule a free estimate today. Google Any Hour Services or schedule online at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
KSL offers the best daily newsletter in the state. It's the 3 things you need to know. Every weekday, we deliver quality and relevant content to your inbox. No ads, no spam, just the 3 things you need to know to be informed about the world around you. Subscribe today. Visit KSLNewsRadio.com or text the word inbox to 57500. That's inbox to 57500.
J&J Garden Center is your fall headquarters. Now through November 1st, save 20% on perennials, shrubs, containerized trees, soils, fountains, and more. You'll also find clearance trees up to 50% off. Fall is the perfect time to plant pansies, mums, and fall bulbs. Don't forget pumpkins, gourds, strawbills, and corn stalks. Plus, explore our gift shop for cozy fall decor, tools, and seasonal finds. Hurry and visit us in Layton today, and let's get your garden fall ready. J&J Garden Center, where fall begins.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have Leaf Filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. 1 discount per household.
When it comes to vaping, the truth can get clouded. So let's make it clear. Vaping is not safe for kids, teens, or young adults. It's just not.
Because vaping can put microscopic particles into your lungs.
And dangerous things like metals and volatile organic compounds into your body.
And nicotine, the same highly addictive substance found in regular cigarettes.
Nicotine can harm a person's brain development through their mid-20s,
affecting learning, memory, attention, and impulse control, and priming the brain for other addictions.
Vaping products also come in kid-friendly flavors that can make them appealing to youth.
And many kids also use other drugs, like marijuana, in vaping devices.
With appealing flavors, high nicotine levels, and lots of promotion on social media,
many kids think vaping is harmless, but it's not.
So talk to your kids about the risks of vaping, because when you talk, they hear you.
For more information, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Mom and Dad used to argue about everything, especially about Dad's drinking. It drove me crazy. It got so bad, I couldn't do my homework. I couldn't concentrate. I absolutely refused to let any of my friends come to our house for any reason. I would have been humiliated if anyone found out how much my dad drank and how loud my mom screamed at him. My family went from totally crazy to quiet, calm, and even peaceful. The only thing that happened is my mom started going to Al-Anon family groups. Her relationship with my dad really changed. I asked Mom if she would take me to her Al-Anon meetings or to Alateen. I wanted to see if I could have a better relationship with my dad. I'm sure glad I did. If someone's drinking troubling you, you might be surprised at what you can learn in an Al-Anon or Alateen family group from people just like you. Call 1-888-4-ALANON or go to alanon.org.
Inside Sources.
Before we go to Utah County and talk about the lawyer appointed in the Tyler Robinson homicide case, there's still a lot of questions about the redistricting commission and what happened in the public hearing yesterday and Monday. And so we're very lucky to have Representative Candace Perucci, who is the co-chair of the committee, to come and maybe clear up some things for us. Representative, thank you so much for joining us this morning, especially on short notice.
You bet. Thanks for having me.
So I have questions, Representative. I'm trying to figure out, I thought public comment started today, but is it actually tomorrow that it starts?
No, public comment has been actually going since Monday, but technically, based off of the judge's order, everything needed to be finalized by today, and it now starts the 10-day period.
Okay, so just as a follow-up question, with everything being finalized, what does that actually mean? Where can the public go to see maps?
Yeah, so they can go to redistricting.utah.gov. You can go to le.utah.gov and go to the redistricting committee's page. And all of the important links and maps can be viewed there. All of the documentation and data that was used is public and can be viewed there. So definitely going to that committee page, you'll be able to find a treasure trove of materials as you review this.
So, Representative, if people look at the map, they will also find what was behind the drafting of that particular map, what went into account?
That is correct. It won't be sitting right there in front of them on the map. It's part of our committee materials. And lower on that, it's a government website, so it's not completely slick, right? But when you scroll down, you'll see all the files there that our staff has uploaded that they can review as well.
I'm still struggling to find it, Representative. I'm on the redistricting committee page. Where do I go to see the maps?
I'm not sitting down at my computer right now, but I can actually send it to you after this.
That would be so helpful.
You're trying to see the maps, or
Yes.
you're trying to see the data? Oh,
The
both.
maps. The maps.
Oh, okay, yeah. If you're on the redistricting page, you should be able to see it right there. It should be under View Maps. Are you on the legislative page?
Yeah, le.utah.gov. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. That'll take a few steps. I'll myself
Okay.
or our comms person, I'll have to send that right over to you so you can see them.
We can put that on our website for our listeners as
Yeah.
well. So let me ask you another question. I heard a sound clip and we played it with you saying that you were wanting public input, but you weren't going to be able to use public input. And I wanted to clarify, I think I understand that what you're saying is it's going to be really difficult to consider a citizen-drawn map. Is that correct?
No, what I was saying was that based off the judge's order, we as a committee needed to make a map public, and the map had to sit publicly for public comment, but we could not go back and make any changes to those maps at the end of the public comment period. So in a normal legislative process, you get public feedback, you have the ability to go make tweaks. We cannot do that based off the court order because the map that we vote on in special session has to have been public for 10 days. So if you were to make a tweak, you'd have to go and do another 10 days. But because we're running up against an election deadline with our elections offices for the 2026 election cycle, that's not an option.
But 5 of the 6 current maps were drafted by the legislature, maybe all 6.
All 6 were drafted by the legislature. The 6th map, the minority caucus, Senator Escamilla and Representative Owens presented to our committee yesterday. So all 6 are eligible, so to speak, to be the proposed map from the committee when we come back and meet, but we're giving the public options to give their feedback on.
Okay, so then can I just ask a question about public comment can be given for the next 10 days, and how as a committee are you able to weigh that even if you can't redraw any of the maps based on their suggestions?
That is the frustrating part of this court-ordered process. So I hear you on the frustration. That is why we had public comment on Monday. We had public comment yesterday, even though the judge indicated we didn't have to take public comment in our committee meetings, just had to have the 10-day public comment online. So that's one of the frustrations with this process, with it being court-ordered, that it limits our ability to make any tweaks. But because we put out more than one map, it does give us the ability to see which map the public is gravitating towards.
And then when the legislature meets, I guess in special session in 10 days, 11 days, they will then,
October 6th.
Then they will do what? They will propose one of these maps to the judge?
Yep. So we'll select one of we'll select one of the maps as a committee, and similar to our committee process during the session, there'll be a bill file with that map that the committee recommends, and then it'll go to the full body, the House and Senate, and then once it's voted on there, signed by the governor, then that is submitted to the judge.
That is a process, boy.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
Yep.
Yeah.
As I understand it, too, there's ongoing legal action or some kind of, at least looking for legal remedies. Is that correct?
Yeah, so at this point, obviously, Judge Gibson has made this decision and created her order, but we are still going to be appealing to the Utah Supreme Court and, if necessary, the U.S. Supreme Court.
Is there any indication of timeline on this? Will these maps actually be in place because legislative process is slow, or will something maybe happen sooner than that?
It is very unlikely that the Supreme Court would hear this before the 2026 election is in play, right? Based off when filing is and how that works. So based off of the judges, right, we're still working through this process, but based off what the judge has said in her order, once we have our map, she will review the map based off of Prop 4 standards. She also gave the opportunity for the plaintiffs to submit a map. So that's something that we're still remains to be an unknown. But hypothetically, if she were to say, okay, your map complies with Prop 4, that would be the map that goes forward for the 2026 elections. That said, we're still keeping our map from 2021 in code. We're just going to be adding this one. And so if a higher court reverses her decision, it would revert back to the 2021 map.
But you're saying that's unlikely to occur before the lieutenant governor's sort of drop-dead date of November 10th.
Right, correct. Very unlikely.
Interesting.
And then, no matter how this plays out, and it sounds like there will be new maps for 2026, the regular process will still be in play after the next census, which is scheduled for, 2030, right? Is that right? And then the Utah legislature in 2031 would go through the same process again.
Well, we will see how that works, right? Because the judge's contention with this is that SB 200, which was the compromise bill that Better Boundaries and lawmakers came together on and created this process where you have the commission in an advisory role that can submit a map to the legislature, which had a bipartisan vote, that because that is this process we used to create these maps, she said it invalidated the maps, and she wants us to go back to the Prop 4 standards pre-SB 200. So that will still all need to be ironed out before 2030, because even proponents of Better Boundaries had agreed there were some things that needed to be adjusted. And so this is where we are frustrated as a legislative body, because normally we have the ability to make tweaks to something in law. That's our role and constitutional authority. But right now we are in a little bit of a limbo phase on that. So we have some time to work that out, but definitely we'll be watching what happens with this lawsuit moving forward, because that will certainly inform that decision.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us, Representative. We really appreciate that conversation.
It's good to have that level of clarification. That made a lot of sense.
Yeah, because again, it's confusing even to me.
Yes. And I think the legislature is going to address how we are going to avoid this in 2 years and 4 years and 5 years.
Right, because between now and the next census, you have a 26 election, you have a 28 election, and then you have a 2030 election. And during that year, they'll do the census, and then in 2031, there will be new districts.
But even whether it was under protest or not, I mean, the legislature did what they were supposed to do.
Yep.
They met, they had public session, they got together, they proposed maps, and they're going to continue to do that. When we come back after the break, we're going to talk, we're pivoting a little bit from where we were before, but we're going to talk about a 9th grade student from Orem who died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. This happened in front of classmates on a field trip. We'll be joined by the Director of Student Support Services in the Alpine School District to learn more about the support being offered to both students and staff. Stay with us.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
10 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Amanda Dixon. KSL's top story this hour: the Utah State Tax Commission is denying property tax increases for the Cache County School District and several nearby cities.
The Tax Commission denied proposed property tax increases for the Cache County School District as well as the cities of Hyde Park, River Heights, and Wellsville. They claim it's because they did not meet the public notice and transparency requirements in the state's updated truth in taxation law. Cache Valley Daily reports the Cache County School District alone is expected to miss out on more than $6 million because of this. The Tax Commission says other school districts and cities have also been having issues with the new requirements that have been introduced over the last year or so. They are now asking the legislature to make some changes so the problem doesn't keep happening. Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
Our top national story this hour from ABC News: when it comes to personal finances, a growing number of married couples are choosing to keep their finances separate. Census data shows as of 2023, nearly a quarter of all married couples have no joint bank account.
So that was the case for just 15% of couples in 1996. The data also shows 77% of married couples with at least one type of joint account. That's down from 85% in the mid-90s. So researchers say a main reason is that more couples are marrying later in life when finances are already established.
ABC's Perry Russum reporting. Your money at this moment. The Dow is off 73 points. Right now, we're at 46,047. Coming up, warm and sunny today. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 10:02.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
Many people worry they're not making the right investment choices inside their 401ks. Did you know that you might have a little-known opportunity to add some additional investment choices to your 401k and get the help and recommendations you've been looking for? This exciting feature is called a self-directed brokerage window. And the best part? The money still stays within your 401k. Learn how the trusted advisors at Capital Wealth may be able to expand your investment portfolio. To learn more, call or text the word VISIT to 801-877-9800 or go to CapitalWealth401k.com. Improving your 401k might mean the difference of retiring a few years earlier. Let's find out. Schedule your no-cost 15-minute consultation with the Capital Wealth team today. Call or text the word VISIT to 801-877-9800 or go to CapitalWealth401k.com. Advisory services offered through Capital Wealth Advisors, LLC, a state of Utah registered investment advisor.
Welcome to fall in Cedar City and Bryan Head, Utah, the perfect place to stay for scenic drives, colorful leaves, and cool mountain air. Experience Cedar Breaks and Zion National Park at their best. And while you're in town, catch one of our festivals to enjoy some small town charm. Pick out your favorite flannel and don't forget the pumpkin spice because Cedar City is waiting for you. We've got something for everybody, so check out visitcedarcity.com to plan your next trip.
When it comes to vaping, the truth can get clouded.
So let's make it clear. Vaping is not safe for youth.
Because vaping can put microscopic particles into your lungs.
And dangerous things like metals into your body.
And nicotine, which can harm a person's brain development through their mid-20s.
With appealing flavors, high nicotine levels, and lots of promotion on social media,
Many kids think vaping is harmless, but it's not.
So talk to your kids about the risks of vaping.
Because when you talk, they hear you.
Learn more at underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. And here's Heather Kelly.
Well, Redwood Road in Utah County is still down to one lane in both directions, right at Camp Williams Avenue. So the southbound lanes are using one of the northbound lanes to get past a crash that is still in the way, blocking a lot of lanes. Northbound travel has to use the right shoulder to get past Camp Williams. So it is still causing quite a bit of delay both directions on Redwood Road. You have a lot of people deciding to take 2100 north, which is still overly congested from Redwood Road over to I-15. If you do need to get into the Salt Lake Valley, I'd recommend taking Main Street or Pioneer Crossing over to I-15 and then going north from there. Common Spirit hospitals, clinics, and caregivers all connected to advanced healthcare in Colorado, Kansas, and Utah. Healthcare with Human Kindness is here. Hello, Human Kindness. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
We should get all the way up to 85 degrees today with lots of sunshine. Then clouds start moving in tomorrow with a high of 82 on both Friday and Saturday. But we don't see any chances for rain until Sunday. Right now it's 70 degrees. I'm Amanda Dixon from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio.
A ninth grade Utah student died Wednesday from what police say was a self-inflicted gunshot wound occurred during a school field trip. According to reporting from KSL.com, the incident happened at 1 p.m. at South Fort Park in Provo Canyon. The Utah County Sheriff's Office said the student was on a field trip with the school when the incident occurred. The shooting was witnessed by other students and faculty. Whether the shooting was intentional or accidental is still being investigated.
It's such a sad story, right? I mean, I put myself in the position of the parents of the student who died, the parents of the students who witnessed it. It's just so sad. So Alpine School District they're making counseling services available. And we're joined today by two guests from Alpine School District. We have Dr. Kim Jones, who's the Director of Student Support Services, and we have Andrea Paxman, the Director of Counseling in Alpine School District. And they are both stepping away right now from supporting students to join our show to help us understand the impact of this tragedy. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
So, Dr. Jones, can you start by telling us how does the school district even begin to help an entire school body make sense of something like this?
I know it's a very difficult situation, but our district is very well prepared to come in and support schools when something like this happens. We have a highly trained crisis team of responders at the district level and also at the school level, and we just get those communication pieces going very quickly. We meet together and address what are the needs in the community, what's the school-wide communication that needs to go out, and we have an excellent communication team at our district as well that helps us craft responses for news outlets as well as to our parents and teachers. And then we set up a temporary crisis center so that we have counseling available for our students and adults who need support.
And Andrea, can you talk to the parents and students that might be listening just about these services, how they can find out more about them, and what's available to the students and staff?
Yeah, that's a great question. We have counselors from the school and from neighboring schools, as well as school psychologists, school social workers here today to support students, and we'll have them available ongoing as well. We have teachers, we have community members here that want to make sure every student feels safe and welcome at school today. Like Dr. Jones mentioned, we have highly trained staff here that are ready to intervene and help. A parent can send their student here. They can call the counseling office. And if there's other kids in the community that are concerned or worried or want to talk to a counselor at their school, we have mental health support at every school in our district, and they can just call the school and make an appointment with the counselor there.
So, Dr. Jones, you mentioned that the district is well prepared for something like this. How do you prepare for something like this?
We have team members that go to various trainings throughout the year at the state level and sometimes even national levels. And then we have what we call our own district crisis team that includes a crisis leader being identified at every single school. And they come in for 3 trainings every school year so that they can be up to date with all the different mental health concerns and safety concerns and having crisis plans ready to go at our schools. And then we just have drives on our computer with plans that we go through so that all schools can feel supported and just be able to go quickly in these types of crisis responses.
And Andrea, I want to follow up on something that you talked about. That is, are any schools in the district closed today, or is school just back in session for the most part?
Yeah, school is back in session across the district. Obviously, we've communicated with parents the resources that are available and encouraged parents to send their kids to school, but to also, they have the right to keep them home for the day, but we are functioning and we have lots of adults in every building ready to teach our students.
You also had staff involved. You had Andrea that was present. I mean, I suppose you have resources available for the teachers and counselors and other people that were there as well.
Absolutely. We have community partners that are here at the school today to meet with faculty members or any staff that were impacted. We also have ongoing services available to them, and we absolutely want to make sure that their mental health is taken care of as well, and we have ongoing support for them.
What would you like the community at large to know?
We basically want to encourage our parents to talk openly with their students about grief and be aware of their emotions, and anything that they can do to keep a close connection with their students is going to be really helpful right now. Sometimes our students just need parents to have space to talk, and the parent just listens and expresses statements of understanding and validation of their feelings. And we just want anyone in the community to know that really, even though these situations happen at times, school really is the safest place for our students. And we do have just extra adults and police presence today to help the community feel comforted in that fact. And just to be aware, again, of the great resources we have at every school. If they just reach out, we are here to help them on many different levels. And we really just want the community to know how thankful we are. We want to share from Principal Cottrell. He has done the most amazing job of leading through this situation with compassion. And he would just really want his teachers and the community out there to know how thankful he is for everything they've done for our students.
Thank you so much. And we're going to let you go back to helping your students and faculty, but we've been speaking with Dr. Kim Jones, the Director of Student Support Services, and Andrea Paxman, the Director of Counseling in the Alpine School District, about the tragedy that happened yesterday when a 9th grader died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound during a school field trip. So it's really a tragedy.
It's unfortunate that we have to prepare for this, but it's fortunate that they did.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like the school district and these two particular counselors were prepared for something like this. I mean, how you prepare is incredibly difficult to think about, but there are resources available for parents, for kids, for the faculty, the people that were there. I mean, it's so big that we're doing that. And I was concerned about, was the school shut down? Do they know it's going? They're going to be there, but they're going to have people there on campus to make sure that everybody can talk to someone if they need to, and parents can opt out for the day and say, hey, my kid's not coming today.
Right.
That's huge.
And there's going to be an ongoing investigation, right? And I'm sure more information will come out as time goes on. But it is such a tragedy, right? And there are questions that are still out there, of course, that people are asking, including some of our texters. But we don't know yet, except for what happened. What actually happened is right there at the park while they were on a field trip. They had left school after partway through second period. They were going out to do this field trip, have lunch, spend the day. And then it was towards the end of the day when this tragic shooting occurred.
Yeah, involved a 9th grade student from a Utah County junior high school that was on a field trip with other students. It was shot in the self-inflicted gunshot wound. We don't know whether it's intentional or accidental, anything about the gun, how he or she got the gun. We don't know a lot about it, but I'm sure that information will be coming from the Utah County Sheriff's Office. They're doing the investigation, a very good agency. So, and maybe we don't need to know a lot of that right now.
Well, it was really great that Alpine School District was willing to let two people come on and talk to us in the middle of what they're doing right now, working with students, faculty, and staff. Specifically with this school, but also other people within the district, right? Because whenever this happens, you start to ask yourself, could that happen at my school, and what can we do?
Right. Well, to pivot, new data shows that mortgage payments are soaring over $1,100 more than rent each month. Ouch. 88% of renters are priced out of the market because of that, and renting isn't just a choice for some, it's a necessity. The Rental Housing Association of Utah will join us on the line next when we come back.
The Social Security Administration just announced they are now projected to run out of money 1 year earlier than expected. Benefits could be cut by as much as 23%, and the average person could lose more than $100,000 in lifetime income. This news could significantly change when you file for Social Security. Discover how you could get every penny out of your benefits with a free Social Security analysis from Boss Retirement Solutions. If you've saved more than $300,000 and have not filed for Social Security, schedule your free analysis now by calling 801-896-9622. This free, customized analysis could help you get every penny out of Social Security. Call 801-896-9622. That number again, 801-896-9622.
Boss Retirement Solutions is not affiliated with the Social Security Administration.
Hello, Utah. I'm Josh with IWC Roofing. For over 25 years, my family has been safeguarding your homes with the finest roofing solutions. We value your time, and we're committed to replacing most roofs in just 1 day with a peace of mind 50-year shingle warranty. Call us today at 801-232-5690 or visit iwcroofingutah.com. Ask us for the $1,500 off any full roof replacement. Financing available. 801-232-5690. Utah homeowners, look no further than IWC Roofing for a roof that stands the test of time. With 25 years of excellence, IWC is your trusted family-owned roofing expert. At IWC, we offer one-day roof replacements with top-tier quality materials, all with a 50-year shingle warranty. To keep a leaky roof from dampening your day, we're offering $1,500 off a full roof replacement. Get a free estimate. Call 801-232-5690 or visit iwcroofingutah.com. 801-232-5690.
Hey, want to hear something great? Right now at Wendy's, you can get 2 of the #1 selling bacon cheeseburger in all fast food, the JBC, plus medium fries and a medium soft drink for just $8. Want to hear something else great? Double the burger means double the bacon. Now that's a game changer. 2 of the #1 bacon cheeseburgers with fries and a drink for just $8. Gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Request $8 JBC meal deal to obtain discount. Individual items at regular price.
Let's go! You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Getting help with plumbing repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
Matthew.
Huh? Oh, sorry.
It's okay. I just need you to listen to me.
I know that a lot of times, Mom, it might not seem like I'm listening to you, but I am. I hear you. And what you say really does matter to me.
I mean, let's be honest. No kid likes rules, but I get why we have them. I hear you, and I know it's because you care.
All the talks we've had over the years, including what you've told me about not using alcohol and other drugs, they stick with me. And believe it or not, they really do make a difference, especially at times that matter most.
Hey, want a drink?
No thanks, I'm good. So thank you, Dad, for talking and preparing me for what's ahead.
Thanks, Mom, for never giving up and always being my biggest fan.
Thank you for letting me know what you expect, so I can try to meet your expectations.
Thank you for talking.
For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
At Social Security, we are always thinking of ways to save you time and make things easier. That's why we created My Social Security. Opening a My Social Security account gives you secure access to your personal record and interactive tools tailored for you. You can see if you are eligible to receive benefits, view spousal benefit estimates, and compare retirement benefit estimates at different ages or dates when you want to start receiving benefits. Already receiving benefits? Use your account to change your address, set up or change direct deposit, get a proof of income letter, and more. In most states, you can also request a replacement Social Security card. Save time. Go online. Open a My Social Security account at ssa.gov/myaccount. Social Security, securing today and tomorrow.
Produced at U.S. taxpayer expense.
The new Inside Sources.
At a recent economic event hosted by the Rental Housing Association of Utah, the Kempsey Gardner Institute presented new analysis revealing a widening gap between renting and owning a home in Utah. As of August 2025, the median monthly mortgage for a single-family home in Salt Lake County, Holly, was $3,600 compared to the median monthly rent for the same home, $2,475. That's a difference of over $1,100 a month between renting and buying. That means a lot of people are just not able to do anything except rent.
Well, that's a big difference. And actually, I thought it was the other way. I thought it was at least equal with the mortgage or maybe more. So we luckily have somebody on the line who can help us with that. That's Paul Smith. He's the Executive Director of the Rental Housing Association of Utah. Thanks for joining us today.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me on.
Can you talk to us just a little bit about that big discrepancy? That seems really big.
Well, the cost of renting versus the cost of a single-family home have been flipping a little bit over the past 20 years, but the disparity is bigger than it's ever been. And it started right after COVID when the price of homes went up and it was exacerbated by interest rate hikes. But yeah, as you mentioned, it's almost $1,100 cheaper to rent a home than it is to buy right now.
And Paul, what about the rental market right now? Are there units available? I know in the past it's been hard to find a place to rent.
Everyone that drives around has seen the enormous apartment construction that's happening everywhere, and that has been a good thing. It has made the market soft in areas like downtown Salt Lake and some other areas. About 33% of apartments right now are offering some kind of concession, usually 1 month free. But unfortunately, the building has stopped and dried up, and so we're going to see rents start going up again in a couple of years. It's a good time to rent right now, but unfortunately, because of interest rates and some other factors, the building pipeline has stopped, and so the units that are under construction, when they lease up, we're gonna have a problem again.
What are some of the pros to renting instead of purchasing?
You know, the $1,100 cheaper doesn't even include things like maintenance, having to buy a lawnmower, having to do your yard, having exterior maintenance, and all of fixing the plumbing and things like that. One of the big advantages of renting is that there's a company that maintains the premises for you, and you can spend your weekends in the mountains, not in the yard.
Paul, it seems like Utah law, and I just base this on my own experience, is fairly, and maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong, favorable to renters. It maybe more than some people might think. Isn't that right?
Yeah, it is. A lot of people think that Utah is just a landlord-friendly state, and that's just not true. We have very balanced landlord-tenant law. Yes, landlords have it good, and they can evict people quickly. Our eviction rate's very low, by the way. They can get resolution quickly. They can collect money that's owed to them fairly easily. One of the best states in the country for those types of things. But renters also have massive protections. If landlords don't fix something, renters can serve a notice, and if landlords ignore that notice, they can fix it themselves or they can break their lease. If you are evicted and you clear it up and you pay it all off, you can have that expunged. So I say that landlord-tenant law is very balanced. We have lots of rights and protections for renters and lots of rights and protections for landlords. Thanks for asking that question.
Sometimes I feel like renting, if you're a little bit older, maybe comes with a stigma. I think people rent when they're younger, but how do people get past feeling like they're maybe behind in life because they haven't purchased a home yet?
Well, there are investment experts who say you're better putting your money in the market than into your home. Not everybody says that. Obviously, homeownership is a big wealth generator, and Utah's always focused on homeownership, but it's not for everybody, particularly if you are moving on a regular basis. If you want to be flexible to serve missions or to go work other places or to travel a lot, renting can be a very advantageous thing for certain types of people, particularly older people that are ready to downsize and not take care of these massive homes. Renting can be a great choice at all age levels.
Paul, what can, and I know the answer to this is it varies from situation to situation, but what can renters expect in terms of a term of the lease? What do landlords, for the most part, want? 6, 12, longer period of time for a rental agreement?
If you're renting from the big professional companies, this is their primary business, they're typically going to want 6 to 1 year leases. If you're renting, and Utah's unique, almost a third of rental households, you have about 375,000 rental households, almost a third rent a single-family home. And single-family homeowners or landlords are more focused on having someone a long time, and they'll often sign 2, 3, 4-year leases. But one thing that renters should do is expect an annual rent increase of a few percent. Over the last 20 years, rent increases have averaged 5% a year. And just negotiate with your landlord, work with them. If you treat their place good, they'll want to keep you for a long time. And particularly if you're keeping their place good, they might not want to raise rent as much as if you're not.
Good point.
Interesting. What about if rent is feeling out of reach also for some people? What are resources available for people who even rent might be a stretch?
That's a great question. During COVID, obviously, the federal government had a lot of rental assistance and a lot of assistance. We don't have quite as much available right now, but Utah has I think it's 411 is the number that you can call and get connected to a housing counselor. There are some rental assistance programs, but look, we have a predominant religion, and even the other religions in the state, if you go say, I'm struggling, they almost all, no questions asked, will give you 1 month's rent. So that is a temporary stopgap. And then another thing to consider is doubling up. Have roommates. All the statistics about how much income you have to afford either a place to rent or a place to own are really unrealistic. They look at you as if there's only one income per household. We all know that's not realistic. To afford things, we need more than one income per household in most cases.
Paul, we just have a couple more questions because I think a lot of our listeners are really interested in this. But we started this segment talking about the median monthly rent is for a single-family home in Utah, or Salt Lake County rather, is $24.75. How does that compare with a year to 5 years ago? Is it increasing drastically, or can you tell us about how?
We had a couple of major increases in 2021 and 2022. In those 2 years, rent increased double digits both years. But then the last 2 years, rents have been relatively flat. Now, not in every area, but especially in the areas where there has been new construction. So, as I said, rents grow on average over the last 20 years in the 5 to 6% range. After COVID and all of the hyperinflation caused by the government spending, there's been some significant rent growth in the last few years. It's taken a little while for people to catch up to that. But the good news is if our governments will let us build housing at the rate we need, and we need about 8,000 rental units a year to keep up with demand from people moving here and people being born, minus those who die. If we can just keep up with that number, we'll be fine. For instance, last year, there were about 14,000 units that were delivered to the market. That's way above the 8,000 we need. But now I think we're going to end up only about 2,000 permits pulled at the end of this year. We just have to – we're much better if we will just take care of our housing incrementally and not have big building periods and big drop-off periods.
Thank you so much for joining us today. That was Paul Smith, the Executive Director of the Rental Housing Association of Utah, talking to us about this gap, really, of $1,100 for a single-family rental to owning a mortgage for a family home in Salt Lake.
That's a significant difference, and that prices a lot of people out. But he gave us a lot of reasons why renting's not a bad idea anyway.
Yeah.
You can save money toward buying a house, and you can save money for other things, just investing it in other things other than a house.
I mean, the idea of not having to do yard work is, I have to admit, it's appealing.
Somewhat
it really is appealing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that he mentioned that Utah law is not necessarily. Some states think that, laws favor landlords. Utah's done a very good job, our legislature have, to protect both sides of the landlord-tenant relationship as it relates to the law.
Yeah. This is related, kind of, when it comes to personal finances, actually. So a growing number of married couples are choosing to keep their finances separate. That surprised me, but we want to know from our listeners, do you keep your finances separate from your spouse? Text us at 57500.
10:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Amanda Dixon. KSL's top story this hour. A judge has ruled a motorcyclist who allegedly shot another man in self-defense was legally justified in using deadly force. Court documents say Jason Brian Stolworthy shot Robert Mabbitt after Mabbitt punched him during a road rage confrontation in Cedar City last June.
So we often think, well, how can you use a gun when the other person didn't have one? But the court said, based on what he had done to the motorcyclist previously, was serious enough that motorcyclist was in fear for his life.
That's KSL legal analyst Greg Skordas. Cedar City News reports the judge dismissed 2 felonies and 2 misdemeanor charges against Stolworthy. Prosecutors say they are considering appealing the ruling. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. We saw a strong August for new home sales, up more than 20% compared to July.
Analysts are curious really to see what happens this month with mortgage rates getting cheaper. The average 30-year fixed rate mortgage this morning is a little above 6.3%, but they caution that as mortgage rates get cheaper, home builders are likely to offer fewer incentives.
ABC's chief business correspondent Rebecca Jarvis reporting. Your money at this moment. Right now, the Dow is down 92. That's 0.2%. We're at 46,028. Coming up, sunny and warm today. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 10:31. Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
Hi, this is Doug Ryden. For years, I've been telling you about products I truly believe in and that we use in our home. And one is Kinetico. We all know the downsides of hard water, tough on home appliances, frustrating spots on shower doors, but it also affects your personality. When you shower, does the water feel invigorating? Hard water can leave your skin feeling sticky and itchy. A Kinetico soft water system changes everything. It's like having a luxurious spa experience when you shower, making your daily routine something you look forward to. Kinetico, it's a difference you can feel. Their patented system uses far less salt than competitors, and they're exclusively focused on water softeners. They're the experts in their field, and they'll show you the difference for free with no obligation to buy. Call Kinetico Quality Water Systems of Salt Lake, an authorized independent dealer, at 801-576-8600, or check them out online at softwaterutah.com. Start enjoying your water. Spoil yourself every day.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other, so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals, and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio, so we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
What other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow, it sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
J&J Garden Center is your fall headquarters. Now through November 1st, save 20% on perennials, shrubs, containerized trees, soils, fountains, and more. You'll also find clearance trees up to 50% off. Fall is the perfect time to plant pansies, mums, and fall bulbs. Don't forget pumpkins, gourds, strawbills, and corn stalks. Plus, explore our gift shop for cozy fall decor, tools, and seasonal finds. Hurry and visit us in Layton today, and let's get your garden fall ready. J&J Garden Center, where fall begins.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. And here's Heather Kelly.
We've got a crash on the transition ramp from eastbound I-80 coming away from the airport to head southbound on I-215's West Belt. Now, the vehicle itself is way out in the grassy median, but you do have emergency vehicles blocking the left shoulder of that ramp, and that is slowing people down as they approach. So just be aware of that. And then you still have some pretty big delays in Utah County on Redwood Road. A crash is still being worked on at Camp Williams Avenue, and that has only one lane available in both directions. So northbounders have the delays approaching 2700 North all the way up to Camp Williams, and then southbounders are going to see the delays as you come out of Salt Lake County down to where the crash is, and everybody's being funneled over, if you're southbound, over into one of the northbound lanes of travel. While you're planning your day, plan for comfort too with Good Feet Store. Find the location nearest you at goodfeet.com. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
85 today, then 82 on Friday and Saturday with some clouds moving in. Slight chance of rain this weekend, especially on Sunday. Right now, it's 72 degrees. I'm Amanda Dixon from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio.
When it comes to personal finances, a growing number of married couples are choosing to keep their finances separate. Census data shows that as of 2023, almost a quarter, 25% of married couples don't have joint accounts. That's up 15% from 1996. Here's ABC's Perry Russum reporting.
So that was the case for just 15% of couples in 1996. The data also shows 77% of married couples with at least one type of joint account. That's down from 85% in the mid-90s. So researchers say a main reason is that more couples are marrying later in life when finances are already established.
So we want to know from you, do you keep your finances separate from your spouse? You can text us at 57500. We already have 2 responses. One just says no, and the other one says, my wife is the boss and she manages all of our money. That is how it works in my house. So we have a joint account and I run the money.
Let's bring an expert in. We have a certified financial planner with DMBA, Shane Stewart, with us. Shane, thanks for joining us this morning.
Glad to. Thanks.
And, what do you tell couples about combining or keeping their accounts separate, or is it more of a personal decision?
It is a bit of a personal preference. I can't tell them really as an advisor what to do. However, if I were asked which is better, I would say combining. And the reason I say combining is then you know what's going on in the household, and all parties can participate and actually keep an eye on each other and do the right thing. But it's personal preference, and some people I've seen succeed quite well in doing that. It just takes more coordination if they do keep it separate.
I was surprised by the number that almost a quarter of married couples don't have joint accounts. And maybe because I'm a little older, I don't know, but it was never even a question that when my husband and I got married, we would just combine all our finances.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's a generational thing. That report pointed to getting married at a later age when your finances are a little more set in stone, but also just a little more trust and even trust in the institution of marriage. It takes a little time and probably takes a little longer for folks to trust that they can combine their finances together.
Does it make sense, Shane, also to do maybe a hybrid where, and because I'm talking selfishly, this is what we do. I have mine, she has hers, but then we have a joint account where we pay the bills out of it. We each contribute to it monthly.
Yes, I love that approach. And in fact, my wife and I instituted that approach accidentally when we were married. We both had separate accounts that were going fine. And so we actually combined one of the accounts, but also we made, and I'm not saying this is always the right way to go, but we made my account the account that pays fixed bills, and we made her account the account that pays variable bills, and just had a way of managing things together, even though a couple of the accounts were separate.
So I'm going to share with you some of the texts that we're getting too. So one texter says that their in-laws had separate accounts, but parents had a joint account. My wife and I have joint accounts. Another one says they have combined finances, and another one says, yep, separate, married later, and it feels much better. So I'm wondering, how do you, if you have maybe people who are either newlyweds or maybe they're engaged to be married and they're coming to ask you for advice, what kind of advice can you give them about how to have the conversation about finances with your future spouse?
Yeah, that can be a delicate thing, but really it's actually one of the most important things you can do is have a conversation. And so I would say this, if someone's dating, let's say, or they're getting serious about getting married, really do have to sit down and have that conversation. And I usually tell couples, whether newly married or married for 50 years, sit down once a month and have that conversation. And if it's a difficult conversation for you to have, if you're not comfortable with that, schedule ice cream after that conversation, just so it's a happy ending.
A happy ending.
Right.
Right.
What about couples, Shane, that have disparate incomes? One party it makes significantly more than the other, or maybe a better example would be they just have more wealth to begin with, either from inheritance or whatever. What do you tell them, or what would you tell them about combining resources at that point? Because I can understand one person. I guess it's not that I do divorce law, but I have. The whole. At some point, you might split up, and then the whole yours, mine, and ours becomes a conversation.
Yeah, you absolutely do need to think about that, especially if it's a very large gap between incomes and wealth. That person with the wealth may want to think about something like a prenuptial agreement, also a very touchy subject to approach, but might need to do that. And to add to that, Greg, someone who, for example, has a very clean record of finances and the other has poor credit score, lots of debt. Those are issues that you have to talk through. Most of the time, however, the couples that I see succeed the most accept each other, whether that's, in sickness and in wealth and poverty, and get together and work that out. Those are usually successful couples.
We have a couple of other texts, and then I have I'll just say we had a huge income disparity in my family because I was a stay-at-home mom for 30 years.
Yes.
So, okay, so here's one text that says, definitely separate, tried joint, and my husband kept running the account into maximum overdraft. One says, if you want to stay married, combine finances after marriage. One says, yes, we each pay for different bills, so it makes it easier for us to keep track of the bills. And then one says that they would love to see a study that compares the divorce rate of couples who combine versus those who keep them separate. And then another one says, second marriage for both of us, having established a living trust, have all joint accounts, but only access our own accounts, share when help is needed. And then we have one that just came in. We have a joint account for bills and household expenses. We also each have a Mad Money account that we put money into from our joint account that lets us buy personal items or gifts without having to, quote unquote, report our purchases. The trouble I run into is my husband and I share an Amazon account and an Amazon Prime account. And so if I order anything, he can just go in and see what he got. Same for me for him.
Yeah. I would say to that one listener, thanks for the research idea. I, too, am curious. What are the divorce rates between those that share their finances and those that don't? The other one I thought was interesting is having a Mad Money account. That is actually a great idea. If you wanted to combine your finances but simply say, okay, but I am also going to have, we're each going to have a separate account to do a little something we want to do for ourselves, Mad Money, so to speak. That's a great idea if you're apprehensive about combining.
Interesting. Well, that was Shane Stewart, certified financial planner with DMBA. That was a really interesting conversation. So, Holly, I just want to ask you. I think you tipped your hand a little bit. What do? You combine everything?
Yeah, we joint. Yeah, everything is joint. Yeah.
Yeah. So we don't. And let me just tell you why. And this will sound weird, but so we have a yours, mine, and ours. We pay joint bills out of an account, but I like to have my own account because, like if I want to take my wife out to dinner, I can still buy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want to take you out to dinner tonight. Or she'll say, hey, you got this new job at KSL. You guys are really having fun. Let me take you out to dinner tonight.
Yeah.
Then it's not like, I don't know, it's like a gift. It's like you're dating. Or when I want to buy her a present.
Yeah.
That it's not like we're buying her a present. It's me. It's still, I just love that separation that we have. And there is trust. I mean, I don't know that I ever I've never wanted to look at her bank account. I don't know what she has, but whatever she does with it, it's up to her.
And that's weird to me, actually. I think I might have trust issues if I couldn't see.
Yeah.
If I didn't have insight into where the money was going. Anyway, it's fine. I've always been the one to do the money. So my husband made the money and I paid the bills. That's how it worked for us. And we have had multiple more texts coming in. Monthly allowance. First 4 years it was separated and then had a joint account. My wife and I do a hybrid, mostly joint, but divided household expenses. So people do a lot of different things.
People are all over the board, yeah.
Yeah. It is interesting. It's interesting. It's interesting.
But it would be, and Shane made a good point, and one of our listeners did too. What's the divorce rate among people who share and don't share?
That might be a generational thing
which
too.
Which one makes the marriage happier? Yep. Well, we talked earlier, and we are going to come back now to the attorney who is now appointed to represent Tyler Robinson in court. He's the man accused of murdering Charlie Kirk. We made that assignment yesterday. We'll talk about who that is and where that case goes from here. Stay with us.
Worried about market losses? If headlines are keeping you up at night, it's time to take control. Hi, I'm Jeff Jr. with Trajan Wealth, and I know you've worked hard to save. But in times like these, what if can turn into what now? If you're planning to retire or are in retirement, you need a strategy that helps protect your future. At Trajan Wealth, you can capture market gains, protect your account from losses, and guarantee income for life. Right now, you could receive a bonus of up to 30% or annual growth of up to 10% for retirement income. You heard me right. An upfront bonus of up to 30% or annual growth of up to 10%, all guaranteed to boost your lifetime income in retirement. Don't leave your future to chance. Plan with confidence. Call Trajan today at 801-899-7600. That's 801-899-7600.
Annuity guarantees are based on the claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company, DBA, in most states, as Trajan Wealth Insurance Solutions.
Tonight on KSL.
I had never heard of this before.
Utah teens at serious risk and afraid to ask for help.
What is sextortion?
Manipulated and extorted online.
Is it increasing? Yes.
I'm KSL investigator Daniela Rivera. We hope this is a report parents and teens will watch together.
We're not stopping it, so we've got to inform the public.
Targeting teens, online extortion, tonight at 10 on KSL and the KSL Plus app.
Fall is football season. Hi, this is Doug Wright. You know me as Utah's Mr. Sports, and I know that nothing goes better with fall football than looking forward to a delicious meal after the game at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. We're so fortunate we've got two locations, one in the heart of downtown Salt Lake City at 275 Southwest Temple, or of course up in the Park City area at Hotel Park City. You can count on the meal prepared perfectly to your tastes. Each and every steak is served sizzling hot on a 500-degree plate, and if you happen to not be in the mood for steak, their entrees are incredible, from seafood to poultry. Sometimes they have specialty entrees on the menu, and of course their desserts are legendary, and the side dishes that you pass around the table to share are wonderful. Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. It's fall. It's time to enjoy football and a delicious meal from Ruth's Chris.
Progressive knows if you have to choose between everyday life and your RV, RV wins.
What, are you going to take the RV to the mountains or go pick up your dry cleaning? RV wins! Are we cleaning the gutters or taking the RV camping? RV wins! Are we getting a new passport or cruising up the coast? RV wins!
Don't forget, you got that trip to Sweden coming up.
Oh, yeah, passport, then RV.
With Progressive, you can bundle your RV with your home or auto and save with a discount and spend more time enjoying those savings in your RV. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states and situations.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're dedicated to serving people 50 and up like me. Our needs are different. Big Wireless wants us in an unlimited plan, but if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on affordable, reliable plans, including data that suits your needs, not ours. Our plans start at just $20, and you'll get the best customer service in the business.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
The following is a test of the emergency alert system. This is a monthly coordinated test of the broadcast stations and cable systems in your area. Equipment that can quickly warn you during emergencies is being tested. If this had been an actual emergency such as severe weather, earthquake, or evacuation, official messages would have followed the alert tone. This station serves the Utah operational area. This concludes the test of the emergency alert system.
Any Hour Services free furnace sale is going on right now. If you haven't scheduled your free estimate yet, what are you waiting for? Call Any Hour Services today or schedule online at anyhourservices.com.
Hi, it's Tori DeVito. In every family, small conversations can make a big impact, like when my dad shared his experiences as an alcoholic. Your honesty about that part of your life gave me a sense of integrity that I wanted to uphold in my own life.
I wanted you to know, from someone who's been in recovery more than 30 years now, that hard work is what creates success, not alcohol or other drugs. I said it a lot, and I'm glad you took it to heart.
Talk, they hear you. For more information, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Inside Sources.
We're going to talk attorneys in just 1 second, but I want to read the text about separate finances. So
they keep coming, yes. And a lot of really interesting concepts. Yeah.
So this one is, my wife and I got married later in life and have separate accounts, but she's the boss of finances, so that's great. This one, we have 4 checking accounts, a joint to pay the bills, joint household account, separate husband, separate wife, and we each get a monthly allowance in our separate accounts that we can spend however we want. That's kind of the fun money or whatever we talk.
Yes.
Yeah, however we called that. This one, in the first few years of our marriage, it was separate and always an area of contention. And so we compromised and joined them together. I like the way they put that. We compromised and put them together. And then the hybrid approach, which has worked for over 40 years. We pay bills and mortgage and all our consumer expenses from a combined account, but everybody has a petty cash account, or they each have a petty cash account for personal use and surprises. And then mostly joint accounts, but have divided household expenses, so each of us have our own credit cards. We did this so and she puts in parentheses, the wife could get my own credit, which is actually really smart. Now we're going to talk about the attorney who is going to represent the man accused of murdering Tyler Robinson. And he, of course, I said that wrong. I read it wrong. The man, Tyler Robinson, who is the man accused of murdering Charlie Kirk.
Right.
So yesterday, the Utah County Commission decided to unanimously approve a contract with Catherine Nestor as his counsel. And I want you to tell us about that.
Yeah, so I need to disclose my involvement with that. I've done some consulting for Utah County over the years with respect to their public defenders and their public defender contract, and this was no exception. I do this because I was asked to do it, and so I'll make a long story short. But Utah County, like most every county, has a public defender's office. At least the bigger counties, they have a public defender's office that just does their public defender work, and I help them negotiate that contract, because normally you think of a county having a county attorney, he or she contracts,
right?
But he didn't want to in this case because
right.
he's contracting with his opposition, so to speak.
Right.
So to keep it clean, we did that, but we didn't budget at the time for death penalty cases,
right?
Because they just take so much of the budget. We just thought we would do those a la carte as they come in. This case came in; it's a death penalty case. I've heard some people say that the Utah County Public Defender's Office is not able or competent, or I don't know what the word is, to do death penalty cases. They absolutely are, and they've done them. They've probably done as many as any defense firm in the state, but they're not budgeted for that.
Right.
So we went around the community and interviewed lawyers and talked to lawyers, and they kind of fell into three groups. There was a group of lawyers who were calling me up saying, "Skordas, I want this case. I want this case." They scared me a little bit. There was a group of lawyers who said, "Don't call me. I don't want anything to do with this case." My wife, my mom, my husband said that they'll leave me if I take it. Those weren't very good either. And then there were lawyers who said, "Look, if I have to, I'll do it." And I think that was the group that we found the most appealing, because this. But I'll tell you this from my own experience, people will not like this, but I would love to have a case like this. I mean, when I was doing primarily criminal defense work, I would love to.
So let me ask you this question: How can you take on a case? And this is from a texter also, but how hard is it for you to take on a case where it feels like the evidence is pretty overwhelming that they're guilty?
Yeah, and this is a case that, I mean, if you heard Jeff Gray, the county attorney's press conference, he laid out a case that seems very compelling.
Yeah.
This is a death penalty case.
Yeah.
And it has two phases. One is guilt and one is penalty, just as every criminal case does. But in death penalty cases, it's the only kind of criminal case in America, where the jury decides the punishment, not the judge.
Mm-hmm.
If I plead a client guilty to a drunk driving or shoplifting or murder, the judge says, "Here's what you're going to serve." But in an aggravated murder, the jury decides, and it's one of three choices: life without possibility of parole, or the death penalty. And so this case, in my opinion, and so when I'll talk about the attorney in just a second, because she may have a completely different approach, it comes down to what can we do to save this man's life, really? I mean, and I think that's going to be a tough decision. And I think that based on his young age and his lack of prior criminal history, that there may be some mitigation here. On the other hand, it was a case that drew so much attention, and it was arguably a pretty cold homicide.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that there's aggravating and mitigating on both sides, and I think the attorneys are going to have to argue that and let the jury decide, because it's a 12-member jury. They have to unanimously agree beyond a reasonable doubt that the aggravating circumstances outweigh the mitigating ones, and if they want to vote to have him executed.
So is it hard, though? It sounds like you are willing to do it, that it's a case that could be interesting. But one of the reasons, like literally one time I considered going to law school, but one of the things I thought is like, I don't want to represent anybody that I feel like is guilty. I don't feel like I could do that.
Oh, you have to. I mean, because
the system works, and I'm glad that there are people out there. I'm just wondering.
But so I'll just give you my best example. Well, I don't know. We started drug court, 1995. What's that? 30 years ago, and our clients were guilty. But what we did was we found a way for them to get out of the system. Now, I know we're not talking about a death penalty murder case.
Sure.
But a lot of our clients come in, and I always tell my client this, and I think a lot of attorneys do. I'm not better than anybody else. But that is to say, I'll help you, but I don't ever want to see you again. If I can help you get through this and get you so that you're not committing a crime again, I feel like I've done something. So guilty or not, I mean, let's get him some help. The attorney that was appointed, we haven't even talked about her, a woman named Kathy Nestor. Of course, the Utah County Attorney's Office is handling the case, and they've got a group of attorneys. I think the lead attorney is a guy named Chad Grunander, who I've known for years, a top-notch, absolute one of the best prosecutors in the state, and I think their whole team is very good. I could go through the list. Kathy Nestor is a very skilled local defense attorney. She is currently representing Corey Richins, the woman that's accused of poisoning her husband in Park City area. She's been very aggressive on that, and I think she's a public defender on that case too. She's not retained on that case. But I've known her, I think I've known Chad, the prosecutor, much longer, but I've known Kathy for a while because she was the head of the federal public defender's office here in Utah for some time, maybe 15 years ago. She took over that position and then went to another state and did the same thing, and then came back to Utah, where she does mostly private work. But the two cases I'm talking about, the Tyler Robinson and the Corey Richins case, she's court appointed on. And so that happens a lot too in Utah. People are like, well, why should the taxpayers pay this? One, they have to. I mean, that's part of we have the right to appointed counsel in America. But secondly, the county's already budgeted for this. It's not like this is going to be some huge expenditure that they were not ready for. We have public defender contracts. We have money set aside for the representation of indigent defendants. And I mean, yesterday, the commissioner, Amelia Powers Gardner, talked about that the county's in charge of footing the bill for both the prosecution and the defense.
Our duty is responsibility to ensure that our laws are carried out fairly, and that includes ensuring both a well-equipped prosecution and a competent defense.
So that's exactly right. The county, the state, the government pays for both sides. I mean, that's just how it works. Commission Vice Chair Skylar Beltran says it's unfortunate they have to fund both the prosecution and the defense, but they do.
We're going to approve over $1 million today in expense for an event that we didn't want. None of us wanted, and it happened to be here, and our taxpayers will now foot the bill.
So I want to be clear on something when he said that, because, of course, I was there for the closed session, but not for that part. But he's talking about expanding the size of the county attorney's office as well. So that part of that money was for additional prosecutors, because they're going to tie up a whole bunch of resources here. So next appearance for Robinson is Monday, the 29th, and that's why we had to get the lawyer appointed by then. I'm sure that his new counsel will get involved in that case, and I'm sure that she'll sit down with the county attorney's office and say, okay, give me all the evidence, give me everything you've got. The next hearing will be to get the evidence going, to make sure that he's got competent counsel, and it's a team. I think she's got 2 other lawyers that are helping her with this. And we've got that going, and I think the process will work. I'm done now, thank goodness. I mean, we've got the lawyers for both sides. You couldn't ask, I mean, it's a dream team of prosecution and defense, in my opinion, on a case like this, which is what you want. We don't want to deal with appeals 20, 30, 40 years from now. We want to make sure that there's a fair trial and that everybody's treated appropriately.
Stay with us over the break. We're going to be right back.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio,
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
11 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Becky Bruce. KSL's top story this hour: Amazon has reached a historic $2.5 billion settlement with the Federal Trade Commission. The upshot is the company will pay about $51 each to customers who were tricked into signing up for Prime and found it difficult to cancel after doing so. A couple of new reports suggest the economy is improving.
The Commerce Department says gross domestic product posted a gain of 3.8% in the second quarter. The Bureau of Economic Analysis attributed that 0.5% rise to stronger consumer spending. Meanwhile, orders for durable goods, items like computers and appliances, rose last month by nearly 3% compared to July.
Your money at this moment, the Dow is down about 131 points right now. It's about 1/3%. S&P 500 and NASDAQ off by about 0.5%. FanX gets underway today with a new focus on mental health. The convention is launching a new experience this year called Nerd HQ, hosted by actor Zachary Levi. Creator of FanX Salt Lake, Dan Farr, says it raises awareness for mental health initiatives.
So what it means to the attendees is that in the evenings, all 3 nights, we have different events going on, put on by Nerd HQ, that people can attend and donate to help the cause.
Tonight's events include various celebrities singing songs fans pick for them. Friday has conversations with actors, and Saturday ends with a nerd dance party, proceeds going toward mental health. Coming up, a few clouds moving in later. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 11:01.
A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
Hey, want to hear something great? Right now at Wendy's, you can get 2 of the #1 selling bacon cheeseburger in all fast food, the JBC, plus medium fries and a medium soft drink for just $8. Want to hear something else great? Double the burger means double the bacon. Now that's a game changer. 2 of the #1 bacon cheeseburgers with fries and a drink for just $8. Gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Request $8 JBC meal deal to obtain discount. Individual items at regular price.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Cars for Kids. KARS Cards for Kids. 1-877 Cards for Kids. Donate your card today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate your car today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car, running or not, can be picked up as soon as the next day. You'll get a maximum tax deduction and a vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have Leaf Filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. 1 discount per household.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Here's Heather Kelly.
We have some slow traffic southbound I-15 through most of Sandy. This was due to a disabled vehicle that was blocking the center lane. Then UHP came up and blocked the 3 left lanes next to the center lane to try to get this truck moved off of the freeway. And once they did, then we saw like an axle or something being wheeled out of traffic as well. So all the lanes are now open, but traffic is still a bit slow going through there. And Redwood Road in Utah County still down to 1 lane, both northbound and southbound. But you only have a little bit of delay for about a block or so approaching this crash on Redwood Road at Camp Williams Avenue. So just be aware you're still down to 1 lane. The Serenoni Warehouse Sale, Saturday, September 27th, 11 to 6 at Utah Military Academy in Lehi. Save big on luxury blankets for babies, adults, and everyone in between. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
Mostly sunny, a few clouds moving in later today with a high of 85. We're down to 63 overnight, then tomorrow partly cloudy and 82. Right now sunny, 72 degrees in Salt Lake City. I'm Becky Bruce from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio.
So this topic is one that is near and dear to my heart, and it is imposter syndrome. So it is, it's just so funny. I think more people are familiar with imposter syndrome, but it's really the idea that you're a fake or that you're a fraud. And I have a quote from Albert Einstein about it. The exaggerated esteem in which my life work is held makes me very ill at ease. I feel compelled to think of myself as an involuntary swindler. This is Albert Einstein, by the way.
Right.
So I am just delighted to introduce our listeners to Dr. Christy Glass. She's a professor of sociology at Utah State University, and I got to know her a number of years ago when we were both serving on the board of Utah Women Run. And she is an expert in imposter syndrome, in confidence, overcoming. So we actually are going to have her for 2 segments. And we're going to first talk about imposter syndrome, what it is, and then the second one, what we can do to mitigate it.
Oh, good.
Welcome, Christy, Dr. Glass.
Thank you so much, Holly. It's great to be on with you today.
Oh, my gosh. I'm so excited to talk to you about something I struggle with kind of all the time. What can you tell us about imposter syndrome, what it is?
Yeah, absolutely. I loved your intro. It's basically self-doubt on steroids, right? It's doubt about our abilities, including our ability to succeed. It's the sense that everyone else is smarter, more talented, and more capable than we are. And as you said, Holly, it often feels like fear of being exposed as a fraud, fear of not really belonging, fear of not really deserving to be where we are. And I love that you quoted Albert Einstein, because I think what a lot of people don't know is that imposter syndrome is a lot more common among high-achieving people. So I'm not surprised to hear that you've experienced it, Holly.
Yeah, you're killing me, Dr. Glass, because this is me as well. I mean, I'm an attorney. I've been practicing for 43 years, and I get in front of a group of attorneys, judges who are half my age, and I just think, who are you? I mean, really, who am I? Who am I to talk to you? I spoke to a legislative group once, and I'm just like, I'm still in high school. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
What is going on in my head? Why do people suffer that?
Yeah, well, there are both some individual factors, and then there are some environmental factors, and I think your 2 examples illustrate both really well. At the individual level, a lot of high achievers are perfectionists, right? We hold ourselves to a really impossible standard of performance, oftentimes a standard that is impossible to meet. So we, even though our performance is outstanding in others' eyes, in our eyes, it's always falling short. And it tends to be we tend to experience this more in situations where the experience is new or rare, or we're doing it for the first time. And often it's that lack of experience, trying something for the first time, or lack of knowledge about how this particular environment works that can trigger that. And then, of course, in the environmental level, as you mentioned, right, being in a highly competitive environment, being in an elite environment with, high status people, the tendency is to compare ourselves. And for perfectionists, at least, we often compare ourselves negatively.
So I'm going to give you another quote. I'm sure you know all these. So U.S. Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor said when she was at Princeton, she felt like she was waiting for someone to tap her on the shoulder and say, ahem, you don't belong here. Right? Supreme Court Justice.
Yes. Yes.
So is this something that impacts one gender more than another?
Yeah, I think, one of the triggers of imposter syndrome is being an outsider or being one of the only ones. So in terms of Justice Sotomayor, at Princeton, she was both first-gen student and a Latina. So, those factors probably exaggerated her sense of not belonging. She didn't look like the other students, and she didn't come from a similar background as the other students, right? So this being one of the only ones or one of the first, this really enhances performance pressures in the sense of that we're being watched and everything we do is being scrutinized. And it also means we are confronted with negative stereotypes, including negative internal stereotypes. And so for these reasons, we tend to see it more in women, particularly women who are achieving in male-dominated fields. And we also tend to see it in, like I mentioned, Justice Sotomayor, folks who are just historically underrepresented in an environment where there are often lack of role models and mentors to say, hey, you're doing all right, or hey, you deserve to be here. And in the absence of that, right, it can be really intense. And Holly, this and I know this, it is real and the consequences are very real. Like it really affects our ability to do our best work or to perform at our best when we're having these internal doubts.
Yeah, and it just happens so often because, the first time for me at least, Dr. Glass, I did a jury trial. I thought, well, okay, you're just some dumb kid, and you're going to do the best you can. But the 200th time I did a jury trial, I get up there and think, you're just a dumb kid, and you don't know what you're doing. And I'm like, when do you get over that? And I mean, in some respects, I do think it makes some people feel better. But what keeps bringing us back to our, you're not there yet.
Yeah. Well, I think hopefully over time, as we do something and we develop the skill set and we gain confidence in our own ability, it can at least become more manageable, right? But the other way in which I think imposter syndrome manifests is we either procrastinate work because we're kind of anxious about it, or we over prepare. And I think, again, this is where the overlap between imposter syndrome and high achieving comes in, because sometimes that anxiety can kind of lead us to over prepare, over develop, really invest in our skill development. And while that can feel miserable, it can also enhance our success and our achievement. There's evidence, for example, that underrepresented folks in careers are much more likely to invest in improvement in their skills over time, and therefore are actually able to achieve a higher skill level than others. And it's partly fueled by this fear that I don't belong or I'm not good enough.
So really quick question before we go to our break, and I know you're going to stay with us so we can talk about solutions, but is imposter syndrome associated with anything else besides perfectionism you mentioned? Is it associated with any other common traits or even less common traits?
Yeah, I think definitely, as we've mentioned, kind of being a perfectionist, feeling like you're not like the others in an environment, feeling like you don't yet have the skill set or the mastery of something, but also, it's not unrelated to anxiety, right? To feeling like nothing you do meets a certain level that you need it to, a tendency to dismiss your success as luck, as opposed to a result of your merit and hard work. And And unfortunately, it's also associated with reduced performance. Folks who suffer from imposter syndrome are less likely to speak up, less likely to put themselves forward for opportunities, more likely to experience burnout, right? So it's also a talent killer. It's kind of taking people off. It risks taking people off the success track because, you take yourself out, you make yourself small, and it's stressful. So over time, you don't want to do it anymore.
Well, stay with us. Thanks for that, Dr. Glass. We'll be right back after this short break.
Hello, car donation hotline.
Hi, I'd like to donate a car to the Utah Kidney Foundation. Are you in Utah?
Awesome. Let's get some info and we'll send you a tow truck.
But I want my car donation to benefit my neighbor in Farmington who needs a transplant. Are you in Utah?
That's a gnaw. I'm in SoCal, but you're still donating to charity.
What charity?
Doesn't matter.
Yes, I want my donation to stay in Utah.
Righteous dude. You need to call Tow Cars in Utah. Locals only, am I right?
Oh, yeah. I remember tow cars with a K like kidney. It's on a billboard somewhere. TOWKARS.org. That's it. Towcars.org.
If you'd like your vehicle donation to help Utah kidney patients in the Beehive State, please use the web address on their billboard, towcars.org, to donate your old car or truck. That's TOWK like kidney, ARS. Towcars.org.
I'm back to doing what I love and more. Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Do you want to walk, play pickleball, and enjoy other fun activities to stay healthy, but can't because you're in pain? Hi, this is Mike, and the Good Feet store wants to help you get out of pain.
I just had difficulty walking when I had the pain. I tried them on in the store, and my foot felt so much better.
Are you buying new shoes and inserts with little or no relief?
I tried all kinds of shoes. It was the arch supports that made the difference from the Good Feet store.
Don't let foot, knee, or back pain get in the way of you staying healthy and having fun.
Thanks to the Good Feet store, I'm bowling 3 nights a week, pain-free.
Get back to doing what you love. At the Good Feet store, we'll personally fit you with high-quality arch supports to maximize your comfort. Stop in the Good Feet store or book your free fitting at goodfeet.com. Walk-ins are always welcome. Make this the year you get active and healthy.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Man, I want to tell people how they can look and feel 10 years younger because it's something you and I already know.
We lost weight with the SOTA weight loss program. I lost 34 pounds, 3 years ago now?
Yeah.
And I do feel younger. I have more energy, all because I worked through this wonderful program, SOTA weight loss.
And I let go of 70 pounds of fat weight over 5 months. And I actually did get comments, you look incredibly younger. It really felt good.
And I love the example I set for my kids to show them, look, we can celebrate things without having to eat stuff that's bad for our bodies.
And what helps is the accountability. And right now, this is the best way to do it. SOTA's bringing back their most popular offer of the season. Join now, and your partner joins for free in the Partner Program.
So you and your spouse, or you and your best friend, get going with SOTA weight loss.
They're the #1 weight loss company in America for client satisfaction and client results. You can find out by going to their website, SOTAweightloss.com. That's SOTA weightloss.com. Because SOTA is, say it with me, Amanda, state of the art.
In today's digital world, outdated technology can slow you down. You need a partner who keeps you ahead of the curve. At Les Olson IT, we help your business thrive with top-tier office technology, from copiers and IT hardware to advanced IT services and security solutions. With Les Olson IT, you get more than just products. You get solutions, service, and a team that cares. Les Olson IT, empowering businesses with the tools for success.
Les Olson IT.
J&J Garden Center is your fall headquarters. Now through November 1st, save 20% on perennials, shrubs, containerized trees, soils, fountains, and more. You'll also find clearance trees up to 50% off. Fall is the perfect time to plant pansies, mums, and fall bulbs. Don't forget pumpkins, gourds, straw bales, and corn stalks. Plus, explore our gift shop for cozy fall decor, tools, and seasonal finds. Hurry and visit us in Layton today, and let's get your garden fall ready. J&J Garden Center, where fall begins.
Getting help with plumbing repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
An expanded Inside Sources.
So we've been speaking with Dr. Christy Glass. She's a professor of sociology at Utah State University. We've been talking about imposter syndrome. And Dr. Glass, we have a texter send in a question that said, didn't this used to be called plain old insecurity instead of a syndrome? But that's a serious question. What's the difference?
Yeah, I would say the really important difference is imposter syndrome is context specific. So you may feel, when I went to college for the first time as a first-gen student, I felt imposter syndrome when I was sitting in class. I didn't feel imposter syndrome when I was with my friends, right? Or in other contexts where I had confidence and experience. So imposter syndrome tends to be context specific, as you mentioned, right? Giving a talk or a trial. It tends to be context specific, where in other areas of our life we may be completely confident, but in this particular context, we suffer from self-doubt.
Okay, and so we want to talk to you now, Doctor, about what can be done. I mean, what would you advise somebody who's they just can't get over it? I mean, what can people do about it?
Sure. Well, I think the most important thing is to be really clear about your purpose. How is this task or this role in service to your values, right? Remember why you're doing it. Remember why it matters. Remember why it makes sense to push yourself and to develop kind of a new skill set. One of my favorite tennis players, Taylor Townsend, #1 doubles player in the world. Even in the midst of a hard match, you'll see her sitting on the bench during timeout reading a notebook. And in her notebook, she has her specific goals and the reason why she's there, right? We can do hard things, but we have to constantly remind ourselves why we're doing it and why the difficulty and the stress and the anxiety are worth it. I think we also have to redefine success, right? We have to set specific and achievable goals for ourselves, and we have to measure our progress with real evidence, not imagined evidence, right? Turn down the voice that says you're not good enough and actually look at the evidence of what you've done and what you're doing and how you progressed. And we have to avoid comparing ourselves to more experienced folks, right? There will always be people better and more experienced and more skilled. That's not our comparison, right? Our comparison is internal. How far have we come? Part of that, of course, is giving ourselves grace, remembering that we learn through failure. Failure is a gift, and failure just means we won't make the same mistake again. And giving ourselves that grace can go a long way.
Do friends or family members, can they play a part in helping us either mitigate or overcome this imposter syndrome?
Absolutely. I think the best thing we can all do is build a village and use it, right? Build a bench, build a village, build a group of trusted people who can help us reflect on what is true and what is false, right? The people who love us, the people who see us, the people who know who we are, they can say, hey, you're not a failure. You've actually accomplished a lot, right? That they can reflect reality to us when our brains are sending us other messages. And they can support us when we fail, right? And remind us, again, what our purpose is, what our goals are, how far we've come. They can help us celebrate our wins. And they can also just help us stay grounded and remember we don't have to be like everybody else, that we are enough exactly who we are and where we are.
So, I mean, this is the hardest segment I've ever done because you're hitting me at my heart. But, I'll tell you something I do, Dr. Glass, and you'll think I'm just pathetic. But when I'm going into something, closing arguments on a huge case or speaking to a group, I'll usually text my wife and just say, tell me I'm not, tell me I know what I'm doing. And she'll just be, oh, you're great. You're going to knock it out of the park. You're going to do something. And I don't know. It was like my mommy, when I was a kid, like at some point you just, and I don't know. And she's usually like, hey, I'm kind of busy right now. Like, you got this. But she'll like come out of the chute and she'll just be so nice. I don't know. I still need that. It helps, doesn't it?
I agree. We all need a squad who's cheering us in the backstage, right? Everybody needs that love, that support, that honesty. We need folks who will say, hey, you didn't quite hit it out of the park this time, but let's talk about what you can do next time. But we also need people who can reflect back to us how far we've come, why our work matters, why what we're doing is important, how it serves our goals, right? And that we're good enough. We all need this. I do the same with my husband. He's the best cheerleader of all, and he usually makes me laugh, which is another real skill when you're suffering from imposter syndrome, to have folks around you who can make you laugh and remember, what really matters.
Let me ask you what might just seem a very odd question. We'll start with this. Is imposter syndrome necessarily bad? And I'll say that for this reason. Because what it does to me is it makes me want to overcome whatever weakness. I mean, when I go into a trial or something stressful, instead of going in with great confidence, I go in with, I need to do something. Actually, I need to get over this. And so to me, I almost think sometimes that imposter syndrome, at least recognizing it and sort of dealing with it, helps me jump into a situation. Does that seem goofy?
I totally agree.
Oh, good.
Not at all. Look, we don't want to suffer, and we don't want to burn out, and we don't want our performance to take a hit. But if we can lasso imposter syndrome in a way that increases our drive, increases our commitment to building our skill and our abilities, if it fuels our preparation and just overall commitment and tenacity to achieve something new, I think it can be if we can marshal it in a way that it's not so painful, it can actually serve us really well. Again, high achieving people are more likely than others to feel that they're not good enough or that they aren't quite where they need to be. And I suspect that's a little piece of what drives us.
That actually brings me to another question. And looking at imposter syndrome and that feeling that you're not good enough and maybe using it, how do you balance that with saying, okay, look, I want that honest feedback. I want to know where I can grow, right? But you also don't want to feel like you really are a fraud, Holly.
Yes. I think it's really important. I think when we suffer from imposter syndrome, we don't give ourselves permission to take up space. And what that means often is that we don't ask for the resources we need. We don't ask for the support we need. We don't ask for the mentorship that we need. And we suffer as a result, right? We feel like we're not good enough, and then we don't take advantage of the resources that exist to help us get better. So I think the first thing we can remind ourselves is that we deserve to take up space. If there's a skill I have not yet mastered, I need mentors to help me through that. If there's an environment where I am not yet comfortable, I need role models and mentors and sponsors who are going to help me close that gap. And those are folks who both are going to encourage you and recognize what you have to offer and praise you for accomplishments, but they're also going to be very, very honest with where you still need skill development, where you still need to put in the work. But they're also going to give you the resources and support you need to do that. And so if we give ourselves permission to take up space and to ask for the support we need when we need it, I think, again, this can be a superpower.
That's incredible. Well, Dr. Christy Glass, thank you so much for joining us this morning. And thanks for staying for 2 segments because
thanks to you both.
This was my therapy for the week, or maybe the year. I got to hook
Therapy
up with
Thursday.
This woman again. Down
No,
the road.
thank you so much. Yeah, really, we
fun.
love that conversation.
My pleasure. Thank you both.
Absolutely. When we come back after the break, the superintendent of Alpine School District will join us live on the line about the 9th grade student from Orem Junior High School in that area who died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound on a field trip. But I want to say this, Holly, that was incredibly educational.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize we both suffer from that because you always seem so confident.
It's a fraud. It's an act. It's an act. And I do have to tell you, there is one person who texted in and said that was a beautifully vulnerable moment, Greg. Our wives can be our biggest cheerleaders. So way to go. High five.
That's huge. We'll be right back.
11:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Claire Scott. KSL's top story this hour. Mental health experts are offering their support in Orem after a student died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound on a field trip yesterday. Dr. Kim Jones, Director of Student Support Services with the Alpine School District, told Inside Sources.
We have a highly trained crisis team of responders at the district level and also at the school level, and we just get those communication pieces going very quickly.
Dr. Jones also said she wants students to feel safe when they're at school, and she's encouraging parents to talk to students about grief and have an open dialogue. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. Prior to his meeting with the Turkish president today, President Trump told reporters they may have some announcements soon on the war in Gaza.
That echoes what we heard from the president's Mideast envoy this week, Steve Witkoff, who said that he was very hopeful that they're getting close to a breakthrough. The president said he'd be discussing that with Turkey's president today during these hours of conversation that they're expected to have. But beyond saying he was optimistic and the meeting went well, the president himself did not give details about what this plan was offered from the administration.
ABC News White House correspondent Karen Travers reporting. Your money at this moment, the Dow is down 173 points, the S&P is down 39 points. And coming up, 85 and sunny. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 11:31.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Shop with any Mountain America credit or debit card for a chance to win a $5,000 vacation voucher. Simply tap, insert, swipe, or click to be entered to win now until October 31st. Use any card, win any trip from Mountain America Credit Union. Visit macu.com/anycard for official rules or to apply. Loans on approved credit. Membership required based on eligibility. Insured by NCUA. Limited time offer. Offer can change or be withdrawn at any time.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, their award-winning tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Find the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief today for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
If you are facing divorce, call Cordell and Cordell today.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. Divorce touches all areas of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on.
If you are facing divorce, contact Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. That's 1-855-GET-LEGAL. CordellCordell.com.
Come on, the meeting's already started. Sometimes it's important.
Last call, boarding gate number 9.
Sometimes it's urgent.
Trip for Aurora.
Sometimes it's vital. Hospital treatment within 1 hour of a stroke can prevent lifelong disability. If you notice someone experiencing sudden weakness on one side or having a problem speaking, walking, or seeing, call 911 fast. Stroke. Know the signs. Act in time. A message from the National Institute of Neurological Disorders and Stroke.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Here's Cormac Bone.
The crash on Redwood Road at Camp Williams Avenue is still down to one lane, both north and southbound, causing slowing in the area. A disabled vehicle on southbound I-15 in Sandy has been pulled to the right lane and out of traffic. Traffic is slow and backed up to 90th South. A crash in South Salt Lake on 33rd South, 300 West, just east of I-15, is blocking lanes in all directions. Be prepared for detours. Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
high of 85 today with clear sunny skies. We'll see similar conditions until Sunday when highs dip to the 70s and stay that way through next week. Right now, 73 and sunny. I'm Claire Scott from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at KSLNewsRadio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio.
Earlier in the show, we talked about a 9th grade Utah student who died Wednesday from what police say was a self-inflicted gunshot wound during a school field trip. And according to reporting from KSL.com, it occurred yesterday about 1 o'clock at South Fork Park in Provo Canyon. The Utah County Sheriff's Office said the student was on a field trip with the school when the incident occurred, and this shooting was witnessed by other students and faculty. And whether the shooting was intentional or accidental is still being investigated. In a statement Wednesday night, Alpine School District said the student attended the Canyon View Junior High School. And earlier on the show, we were fortunate enough to interview Dr. Kim Jones, the Director of Student Support Services in the Alpine School District. She joined us earlier to talk about what parents in the community should know.
We basically want to encourage our parents to talk openly with their students about grief and be aware of their emotions, and anything that they can do to keep a close connection with their students is going to be really helpful right now. Sometimes our students just need parents to have space to talk, and the parent just listens and expresses statements of understanding and validation of their feelings. And we just want anyone in the community to know that really, even though these situations happen at times, school really is the safest place for our students. And we do have just extra adults and police presence today to help the community feel comforted in that fact. And just to be aware, again, of the great resources we have at every school. If they just reach out, we are here to help them on many different levels.
So we have with us right now Rob Smith. He's the superintendent of Alpine School District, and he is here to talk to us a little bit more. Thank you for joining us this morning, a day after a really tragic incident.
No, you bet, Holly, Greg. Thanks for the opportunity.
Can you talk to us a little bit about how this is impacting the district as a whole?
Yesterday was one of the most difficult days for our team. Obviously, a tragedy when a student dies by suicide, and other students are present and faculty. It just has been just a difficult time for all of us. And I think visiting with the family last night and visiting with some of our team, there are things that we can do and we should do as a community to improve connections, to stay focused on supports, and to do things that will enhance or improve our safety both at school and within the community.
Rob, it does seem like the district had some things in place, or either that or just was ready to deal with this so quickly, because we did interview a couple of the counselors and other directors of student services earlier about how the district and how the school had responded. But these kind of things, it just seems like there was some level of preparation going into this, and the school district has jumped right on it.
Yeah, no, Greg, thank you. We have some of the best staff members, our teachers, our counselors, our student services team led by Dr. Kim Jones. We prepare and train for these types of things, hoping that we never have to experience them. But when they do happen, the team is ready and prepared to act quickly to support students, families, our educators, and our community.
What is the sense that you're getting today from people from, what's the school again? Remind me. Canyon View Junior High?
Canyon View Junior High.
Yeah. What's the sense that you're getting from from that school right now today?
I visited with principal briefly, visited with the school board member last night briefly, and visited with multiple folks, as you can imagine, communications from parents, from teachers. I just left one of our schools and visited with our Teachers Association president, and just what I've heard is just overwhelming gratitude for the reaction, the support, the connection, reaching out with messages and showing up for each other. That's what I've heard just a bunch of. And then also concerns, okay, how can we respond better? What are some things that we can do individually and collectively to support each other and have better connections one with another? So those are the things I've heard today and last evening.
Was there a discussion, Superintendent Smith, about closing that school for a day? And if so, how did that go about it? Because I wasn't necessarily surprised. I was actually pleased that the school was back in session today, but certainly there had to have been some discussion about, well, what do we do with that particular school today?
Yeah, no, great question, Greg. We receive communications on all ends and many in the middle, and there were some saying we need to show up for each other tomorrow and we need to move forward. There were some who also said, why didn't you close the school and allow folks to process? So we reviewed that as a team and debriefed and talked about how we need to be there for each other. And where we landed was we need to hold school both today and tomorrow. We need to affirm those commitments and connections one to another. And we need to be about our role in supporting parents and these students in their learning. And so as we talked about all of those things, the decision was, yes, we need to be there for each other tomorrow. So that's why we held school.
Thank you. Do you have Hope Squad in that school?
We have student councils. We have Hope Squads in many schools, Holly. I don't know specifically if there is one at Canyon View Junior. However, I do know that we have just amazing students there and a very active student council and that provides supports to their peers and to each other. We also have our adult resources with our counseling teams, our crisis team at the district student services that can provide supports. But I don't know specifically about a Hope Squad at that school.
So much has been said, Rob, about what's been provided for the students that were there. Can you tell us about the faculty and staff and how that were present, that were on the field trip? What we're hearing from any of them today?
We just sorrow, grief. There was a faculty meeting yesterday afternoon, and it went for a very, very long time. And that group of committed educators coming together to talk about what happened, to grieve together, and to share ideas and resolve to move forward. That happened yesterday. A lot of support, one for another. But again, after that faculty meeting ended, the debrief at my team at the district was, let's move forward. Let's provide supports. Let's talk with our law enforcement partners. We're so grateful for Orem City and our school resource officers, as well as our police department and other community resources that we connect with regularly and lean on when we have tough situations like this. And again, we made the decision to move forward together.
Thank you so much for joining us. We've been speaking with Rob Smith, the superintendent of the Alpine School District, about the tragic death of a student on from a self-inflicted gunshot wound yesterday on a field trip. So we're coming to the end of our show, which means we get to pivot to some fun things. So if you're in downtown Salt Lake City, you may see many people walking around dressed up in, I don't even know how to say it, cosplay.
Cosplay. I have no idea what it is.
Now we're showing our age.
Yes.
That's because FanX kicks off today, and we're going to get the inside scoop from KSL's Fan Effect podcast producer straight ahead. Stay with us.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-859-3220. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 to 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-859-3220. That's 800-859-3220 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-859-3220. 800-859-3220.
Hi, this is Derek Overstreet, president of the New Millennium Group and co-host of Stop Working, Start Living with KSL News Radio. Can you imagine what your life would be like if you could retire 3 to 5 years earlier than you thought possible? The things you could do, the loved ones you could spend time with, the memories that you could create. That's what our team at the New Millennium Group does. We'll walk you through the entire process every step of the way. If you'd like to get a copy of the 5-step proprietary plan that will help you retire 3 to 5 years sooner than you thought possible, give us a shout right now. 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370 or utahsfinancialplanner.com. Listen, most of our listeners right now have a tax problem, not a money problem. There's not enough money in Social Security Medicare as it is. Let us show you how you can significantly reduce your taxes. That's 888-999-6370, 888-999-6370, or utahsfinancialplanner.com.
This is Derek Miller speaking on business. The Downtown Farmers Market's mission is to support local agriculture, foster community, improve access to fresh food, and promote shopping locally. Joining us to share more is Carly Gillespie, Deputy Director at the Urban Food Connections of Utah.
34 years ago, Salt Lake's Downtown Alliance launched the Downtown Farmers Market at Pioneer Park. Today, it's Utah's largest free community event, drawing more than 250,000 shoppers every summer Saturday from June through October, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. The market is a powerful economic driver, generating over $11 million in annual direct-to-consumer sales. It's home to over 300 vendors from 16 Utah counties, 65% of them women-owned. More than a third of these businesses got their start right here at the market. Here, you'll find farm-fresh fruits and vegetables, locally made food and beverages, and a vibrant arts and crafts market. It's a gathering space where Utah farmers, food entrepreneurs, and neighbors come together, strengthening our local economy and our community. The Downtown Farmers Market at Pioneer Park is open every Saturday, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Learn more at slcfarmersmarket.org.
By shopping at the Downtown Farmers Market, you're directly supporting small businesses and local entrepreneurs. Your purchases help them grow, keep your dollars in the community, and give you access to fresh, unique products you can't find anywhere else. I'm Derek Miller with the Salt Lake Chamber, speaking on business.
If you talk and they will hear you.
We all want our kids to grow up safe and healthy, so we show them how. And we tell them with honest conversations that let them know what we expect. Not just one time, but every chance we get. That's especially important when it comes to alcohol and other drugs. Kids not only need to know the dangers and how to avoid them, they need to hear it often from you. And when it comes to pain medications, opioids, they need to know that they should never be taken without a prescription and never shared with friends or family. It's dangerous and illegal. So talk with your kids and guide them through the challenges of growing up safe and healthy. Because when you talk, they hear you. For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
So talk, they hear you.
and expanded inside sources. Inside sources.
So FanX kicks off today, Holly. And so those of us that work and live downtown are going to see a lot of people walking around in what they call cosplay, which we had to look up, the costume play. And I think these costumes are incredible. I've never been to FanX
amazing.
Or any of its predecessors, but it just looks like so much fun. And it's fun that people just get into it. They get right into the roles.
Yeah, we have Kellyanne Halverson, who does get right into the roles. She's also the producer of KSL's Fan Effect podcast. And Kellyanne, can you just tell us really briefly, what is FanX?
FanX is a Salt Lake comic and pop culture convention, and it is my favorite event of the year. Celebrities come in, artists come in, filmmakers, all sorts of different companies, and they all come together for this huge 3-day event. There's a huge vendor floor full of activities, artists, things to purchase. My favorite is the paneling. So you go and select different panels along the periphery area, and you go learn about Lord of the Rings or discuss Harry Potter. And the celebrities in this giant ballroom come out and they talk. This year they have people like Zachary Levi. We have Don Most from Happy Days. We have Alec Baldwin. William Shatner's coming back. John Rhys Davies from Indiana Jones. And for me, it's just a big fandom family celebration. I just love it so much.
So William Shatner, he seems to be a regular and what Star Trek, right?
Yeah, he's a regular in Star Trek. He's actually been to space. Most people know him as Captain Kirk. I fell for him as a child watching reruns of The Twilight Zone, but he's amazing. And what's wonderful is you come into this big ballroom or even individual panel rooms, and they share their stories. There's moderators that ask about, the inside Hollywood scoops and what it's like being a celebrity. And then in most of the panels, the last 10 minutes or so, individuals from the audience can actually come in line and talk and ask questions themselves and tell them, what their fandom, what their celebrity has meant to them.
So what are you most excited about this year?
Oh, I'm so excited. Well, there's an area for everybody there, and one of the areas is called the KidCon area. And over there, I'm actually volunteering with a lot of my Harry Potter friends, and I'm doing wand crafts, and there's lots of fun photo opportunities. And there's just something magical about introducing a story world to kids and seeing them so excited about it and get involved in it. And so I really love the KidCon area. I'll take a lot of pictures. I'm going to be dressed as Hufflepuff for students throughout the week. And I actually get to sit down with Zachary Levi tonight and talk to him about Nerd HQ.
There you go.
And what Nerd HQ is, it's his program, his business, I guess is what you would call it. And they're talking about mental health, and particularly mental health in the fandom and the nerd community. I think sometimes people in my community, the nerd community, feel a little ostracized or sometimes lonely and isolated. And so being aware of, yes, mental health is important. Yes, you can find places and resources to be better. And Zachary Levi is actually doing a concert tonight. It's $40. It's a separate ticketed event. It's really cool. Yeah, concert karaoke with him and other celebrities, and it's all going towards this Nerd HQ.
Kellyanne, what is it about this event that draws so many people, and especially adults? I drive around the street and I see adults who are just totally into the role, totally into this, and some of them have their kids, but some are just adults with their friends.
I think as we grow up, we start to hide the things that bring us joy from our childhood. Or we think, I can't talk about my fandom. I can't talk about this story that has changed and shaped my life. But in the fandom world and FanX and different conventions like this, it's just all inspiring and everyone comes together. And I was really afraid at first when I started accepting my fandom that I would be judged or, you don't know enough about this artist. But it's just welcoming. And everyone's so willing to share why these stories have made them have a better life and have given them hope. And there's this osmosis of different fandoms and everything. And it can be everything from books you read. There's going to be a lot of different artists and authors there. There's filmmakers. There's workshops, including if you want to become a writer, Brandon Mueller doing advice he would give to himself as a teenager. You can be accepted in every and any way, and it's wonderful. It's changed my life literally. I was too nervous at the first FanX to talk or dress up. And here we are 11, 12 years later, and it's my job to talk fandom. really a wonderful, welcoming community.
So one final question, Kellyanne. If people want to go, it starts today, correct?
Yes, it starts today. The vendor floor opens at 1:45, and then throughout the day, when you purchase your ticket, there's multiple days, there's single days, there's panelings along the outside rooms you can go be a part of. There's workshops for free, all these different things. There's some things that are a little extra cost. Go check it out at fanxsaltlake.com. It's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, closing with a big cosplay contest on Saturday evening, which is so much fun. We see all our local artists out there. And I would download the app or also follow on Facebook because they'll give show updates of like maybe if a celebrity can't make it or a panel's changing rooms. So come explore, go test it out. If you want to see what it's like for yourself, you can find our KSL Fan Effect podcast that we've just done. We have 2 previews. And the second one, we have Heather Kelly from KSL News Radio interviewing some celebrities from Happy Days and me going through the panel discussions. So you can see what it's like before you test the waters.
Wonderful. Thank you, Kellyanne. That was Kellyanne Halverson, producer of KSL's Fan Effect podcast, on the phone with us. Sounds like fun. I mean, listen to her, Holly. You kind of want to go now.
I know, right?
It sounds like a lot of fun. So tell us where we are today.
Okay, so today is National Daughters Day.
Oh.
September 25th. It's what's really funny is so I go to nationaltoday.com to find these fun facts, right? But it's National Daughters Day, but they also mention you might also like National Transfer Money to Your Daughter Day, which is October 6th.
I hope neither of mine are listening right now or they'll hook me up.
So October 6th is Transfer Money to Your Daughter Day. So I thought that was really funny.
There you go.
So I had to tell you, last night I went to an event for the Deseret News, and I still write for the Deseret News, and I do the Utah Policy newsletter for the Deseret News. And they celebrated their 175th birthday, so the official date was in June, but this was their gala, and actually I think it's their first gala, but they did an award for Dr. Arthur Brooks. And if you know Dr. Brooks, he's really quite amazing, and he's done a lot of work in what is particularly timely right now, the problem of contempt. And he wrote a book, I think it was 2019, became a New York Times bestseller. It was Love Your Enemies. So I've listened to it several times, but one of the things he talked about last night is do not run from contempt. Run at it at full speed with your love. He said there's only one thing that's going to fix the problem of contempt in this country, and that's love.
How completely perfect for the timing of this right now. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, it was really such a good event last night. So I was really appreciative of that and being able to be there and listen to Dr. Arthur Brooks. Okay, so additional fun facts for today. On this day in 1789, the U.S. Congress proposed the Bill of Rights. It's your favorite topic.
There we go. And this day in what?
1789.
The Bill of Rights.
Yep.
Yes, the first 10 amendments to the United States Constitution.
That's right. Separate from the Constitution. Came a little later. Okay, so this one, our audience might appreciate a little more than some other ones. In 1894, Grover Cleveland, who was the president of the United States at the time, pardoned bigamists, adulterers, polygamists, and unlawful cohabitants, specifically aimed at people living out in Utah.
Oh,
Utah
really?
territory. Yep.
Seriously. Interesting.
Yep, exactly.
Good day.
Exactly.
Good day.
Yeah. On this day in 1926, Henry Ford announced an 8-hour, 5-day work week. It was revolutionary at the time.
Seriously. I wonder what they were doing before that.
12, 16-hour days.
It was like,
kids.
so that was,
this was
dialing
like
it back a little bit.
Dialing it back, and it was like, holy cow! You mean I can go to work and I only have to work 8 hours and I only have to go 5 days a week? Revolutionary.
I think he also developed the assembly line in that process.
Yeah.
Building the cars at the time.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing I learned about in my PhD program, because one of the things they did was time motion studies. It was literally trying to figure out what's the best motion to pick up widget A and put it on the conveyor belt on widget B. It was just so fascinating and also not that applicable actually in the long run.
Hey, well, do you know what happened on this day in 1954?
No.
My big sister Cindy was born.
Aww,
I have to shout it out.
birthday,
She listens
Cindy.
to our show. She always listens. Good
That's
kid.
so great.
A day that will live.
That's great. And one more final fun fact. On this day in 1987, the Princess Bride movie was released.
Oh, there you go. That was a good movie. That was a fun
so
movie.
good.
That one was a lot of fun.
Right? He's not all the way dead, just mostly dead.
Just
right?
mostly
And then
dead.
As You Wish.
There you go. Well, so we will come back after the break with Midday with Maria Shaleo. She'll talk to us about a years-long construction that's been underway in Sugar House, and the community is finally celebrating because that has torn up 21st South. Stay with us.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Good afternoon, KSL News Time, 12 o'clock noon. This